What is good, Chad? How are we doing today? And first things first, let me know if you guys can hear me, okay? We about to get started on this here show. I appreciate y'all being here. Really, it's a Sunday. You can be literally anywhere in the world right now, with some of you guys are, and you chose to be here. I appreciate it, and I promise you, it is going to be worth your while, because the title and line, my guys, all right? Andrew Tate is basically this conservatives, at least this generation's, the conservative Jeffrey Epstein, okay? Pause. Now some of y'all like, dude, whoa, hang on. That is such a bold statement to make. How dare you say something like that, right? What makes you think that is the scenario? Well, I mean, if you don't see the parallels already, I guess I got to remind you, right? Because listen, what do we know Jeffrey Epstein for, right? He's known for running a massive trafficking organization, all right? Criminal trafficking, had his own island, and had a bunch of rich and powerful influencers that were, surveying and, getting whatever it is they need to get out of that. And it was absolutely embarrassing, right? Well, Andrew Tate, similarly, in Romania, I mean, I guess you can call him the Romanian Jeffrey Epstein, pretty much had similar things, right? Epstein had powerful connections to friends in high places, right? And some may even say that Jeffrey Epstein himself was a part of intelligence, right? Maybe he was a agent set out to compromise a bunch of rich and powerful people around the world. And who's to say that that's probably a thing he was involved in, right? Andrew Tate claims there's a matrix, talks about it a lot. Also talks about the value of power and how it's beneficial to go ahead and influence people through bribery. Matter of fact, bribery was one of the main reasons why he moved to Romania, right? The bribery, the corruption. It's easy to grease a few palms and, get things moving the way you want to. So there you go. You also got Ghislaine Maxwell, okay, and the whole dynamic Epstein had with her. Tate has his own version of a Ghislaine Maxwell, okay, and that is Vivian, okay. I mean, he had a couple of them. Vivian is kind of one would be the closest to the Ghislaine Maxwell, because remember, she was trafficked when she was 15, and Andrew Tate has let that slip multiple times, which is absolutely just insane. Stop doing interviews. Seriously, stop doing interviews, but who cares, right? So listen, Vivian is basically Andrew Tate's Ghislaine Maxwell, right? And you got Georgiana and the other chick that being prosecuted alongside with them, right? I would say those girls are more like enforcers, right? And they kept the Tate operation going, right? They kept the Tate, webcam operation, making sure the girls were doing the content and doing the right type of content, apparently, and all these different jazz that go with it. That happened, right? And now here it is. Epstein went to jail. initially, got let out because of his powerful influence. Some could say similar with Andrew Tate. I mean, he's been locked up multiple times, and now he's through proof that he's been trying to bribe people. We all know he has those powerful connections that are there, right? So the parallels are just absolutely similar. This guy is the conservative Jeffrey Epstein. Now, why am I saying he's the conservative? Why am I using conservative specifically? Well, if you look at Jeffrey Epstein, a lot of people kind of associated him with the what do you call it, the mainstream liberal order, because he was connected to the Clintons and some of the these bigger entities that a lot of these guys on the right like to point the finger and say these guys are trying to take over the world, right? You know, those powerful people. And I guess you could kind of say he was on the left, which we don't even know what Epstein's politics was like, but a lot of the people on the right tend to classify Epstein as that. Now listen, all the similarities we just listed off with Jeffrey Epstein, all right, and then we got Andrew Tate. Listen, if Epstein, quote unquote, was accepted by what the conservatives say we're the left, right? What do we got to say about Andrew Tate? And a lot of the big conservative media players like Tucker Carlson, shame on you, you goddamn idiot. You got guys like Candace Owens, you got Alex Jones, you got all these guys, Patrick Bet-David, he's got an influence now. You got all these guys who are basically coming out and they're embracing Andrew Tate, and not because of whatever it is that he serves. It's more of like his politics than anything else, right? Because, I mean, I guess a lot of them would say he follows Christian values, or some people would say, well, no, he follows more Islam values, right? Either way, it's conservative. I mean, realistically, if you even look out in the conservative space, you can start to see a lot of Republicans courting a lot of Islam and bringing that into the fold, which used to not happen before, because a lot of conservatives, remember, they especially with Iran, they were not good with Islam, right? So it's so interesting and strange to see how the conservatives are trying to embrace Islam now, even though they're, you know, the ones responsible for destroying a lot of Muslim nations in the Middle East. George Bush, I'm sorry. But apparently that's happening now. And the reason why that's happening is because a lot of people in the Muslims and a lot of the Christian conservatives realize something. Wait a minute. You know, we both don't like the LGBTQ. We both don't like the abortion rights. We both don't like any of these things that the left stands for. So let's pull together politically to go ahead and beat the left, right? And that's their whole, thinking, right? And Andrew Tate is one of those guys who has the biggest demographic of young, you could say military age males who are basically ready to go, right? They're almost as if like a new voting block, because think about it. You got a bunch of young guys that you can bring into the Republican Party, right? Or the conservative sphere, and then have them vote your way. I mean, it's perfect. And Andrew Tate is just amazing for that, right? So you got guys like Tucker Carlson feeding into it. And by the way, there's a hilarious video of Tucker Carlson. And essentially when he was trying to do a meeting with Andrew Tate, the whole backstory of how they were setting up was hilarious, because Tate's agent wanted Tucker Carlson to wear a sweater because Tate was going to be shirtless or some shit like that. It was crazy because the back and forth Tucker Carlson was doing, like, well, I don't want to do it. I don't want it to be like some kind of bro talk. I want it to be somewhat professional. Can Andrew Tate wear a suit? Come to find out, Tucker Carlson ended up wearing the sweater. We might actually react to that too. That shit was fucking hilarious. It just shows you how spineless a lot of conservative media is, right? And they point the finger at the other side. It's like, yo, damn it. Y'all are just as weak, bro. But anyways, these guys like Tucker, Candace Owens, they've embraced Andrew Tate wholeheartedly, right? They embrace his talking points against some of the other talking points I mentioned, like the LGBTQ, we call it depression, we call it, abortion and certain things, and women's rights in general, right? Speaking of which, like some of you conservative women out there, you do realize when this is all done and over with, when they're done beating all these other movements over with, they're coming for your rights. Pearl has already said it. She doesn't believe you women out there should vote. And I know a lot of you conservative women don't believe that shit. So the fact that you guys are running around with these conservatives dudes, repeating the same talking points that these conservatives dudes, believing that these guys are going to see you as equal, you're stupid. A lot of you guys are just dumb, because when these conservative men get done chasing and trying to the trans and abortion nonsense and COVID nonsense, right? When they get done chasing that, guess who they're going to turn their attention to? the women. And before you know it, they're going to start picking and parting at your rights to try to move that away, because ultimately they don't like you. And the fact that you lie, there's a bunch of conservative women out there is funny. But the good news is a lot of them are, I mean, which is probably the reason why most conservative women end up becoming liberal women, because they get married to conservative husbands and they realize those guys are pieces of shit, right? It's just is what it is, right? But it is like, granted, I'm not saying all conservatives or things like that, but the ones who are very outspoken, they're not really the greatest people. And Andrew Tate is part of that category. So by definition, this guy being embraced by conservative, being embraced by Islam, being embraced by most far right Christian, fundamentalists or evangelicals. All right, this guy is basically the conservative Epstein. And what would solidify that is when a conviction has happened. Now, we spent a lot of time talking about Andrew Tate, and there are a couple of videos we're going to react to, and I got to speed this up because there's one video we absolutely have to react to, and that's by Common Sense Skeptic, who basically broke down the whole thing. We have to react to it, all right? But what I want to break down is the people around Andrew Tate, because no one really actually talks about that, right? Obviously, we got Tristan and whatnot, but what about the guys around him, right? To really put the icing on the cake about how much of a prolific trafficker this guy is, right? It turns out that the people in Andrew Tate's circle are actually deviants themselves, and some of them actual pimps, former pimps, or current traffickers, right? And some of those guys are affiliated with the mafia. I'm gonna share this screen with you because we're gonna have to we gotta cover this piece, right? So there are a bunch of things being uncovered about guys who are around Andrew Tate, and it's absolutely interesting because the people they're finding around them, they're realizing that some of these guys not only have deep history of pimping women, but some of these other guys are traffickers that have ties to the mafia, right? The Romanian mob. Let me go ahead and pull this up, right? This guy right over here, his name is Eddie Power, right? That's his alias. He says, just got word. This is Agent Smith, by the way. He says, just got word that Tate was very close friends with a convicted child pornographer, child trafficker, and mobster named Edward Ivan in Romania. He also went by the alias Eddie Power. This guy is one of his mafia connections in Europe. Now, when I saw this, I'm like, yo, this is a very, very interesting tweet. And shout out to the person that sent it to me. This is very, very interesting. I need to do more research because I can't just take this at face value. So I kept poking around and doing things. And I came across this article right over here that we're absolutely going to cover. Let me go ahead and zoom in here because this shit was crazy, right? And guys, let me know. I'm going to pull this real up close, right? So it says this is actually translated from Romanian to English. So it was originally Romanian, but Google can help me translate it to English so we can read this together, right? So maybe the translation may be off on some of these things. It may not be on point, but this guy was busted over a year ago, right? So Dumitru Ivan, known as Tikuza, is one of the It's one of the Brazilians who were part of the underworld of the 2000s. Was detained on Wednesday evening by prosecutors of DICOT, Structura Centrala, according to the information obtained exclusively by Debrilia.ro. And his son, Edward Ivan, photo. This guy right here, the same guy that was in the photo with Tate right over here, right? So this guy, come to find out, is the son of a Brazilian known crime lord, right? So let's continue because this shit is getting interesting, right? So they're going into the world of this Eddie guy, right? So on May 18th, in the early hours of the morning, anti-mafia prosecutors descended on 10 houses in Bucharest. Now, I want to just say this right now because a lot of people clearly don't get what's happening here, right? They said a bunch of anti-mafia, okay? Anti-mafia, or what is it? Hold up. Did I miss that? Okay, it says anti-mafia prosecutors. Now, chat, this goes back to a theory that I've been telling you guys for the longest time. All right? What I've been telling y'all is that the reason why this case is taking so long is because they're trying to find a link between Andrew Tate and the mob, Romanian mob. I think that's something that people aren't talking about yet, that like deep type connection. But as we go forward, you're going to start seeing more and more people connected to the mob tied to the Tate, or at least the Tate brothers and their sex organization and gambling operations, right? So keep that in mind, because the same dicot are the ones who are prosecuting or at least hunting down these mafia members. Great Bill Podcast, out to you for the membership. Welcome to the dukendon family. If Great Bill, you've been part of the family for a while, shout out to you. M. Dot with the $10 super chat. M. Dot says, you may be onto something. Epstein had his flight manifest. Tate had his war room. Both were charged with trafficking, although Tate is unable or unwilling to keep a low profile. Facts. Okay. Now, and I'm glad you said that, M. Dot. M. Dot always beat me to the punch, bro. Shout out to you. I'm actually gonna break down a lot of people who are in his war room, right? The connections around Tate. That's what we're gonna do. And then we gotta get into comments and skeptics video, because that shit was freaking amazing. But yes, absolutely yes. There are a lot of people. Not just like what do you call Epstein's flight manifest. There are people in that war room that are like on par with that. We're gonna break down at least some of the more notorious ones in just a second here. Shout out to M. Dot for the super chat. Jacobus with the $2. She says, "What do you use to put in the super chats on stream? What do you use to put the super chats on stream? StreamYard." I've been using StreamYard for a minute. Shout out to you though, I appreciate it. M. Sharer says, top two for the €5 says, why did judge let human trafficking and rapists drive around Bucharest for the next 2 months? Because they're out on bail. It's because they're out on bail, right? So they're under judicial control. So at this point, you're basically at the final stretch of the case, right? They finally figure out that, hey, this guy, there's no more witnesses that he can intimidate. There's no one else he can try to reach out to tamper with this case going on. So right now, they don't deem him as that kind of risk, nor do they deem him as a flight risk, because they have his documents. He has to check in before he travels to certain places. Again, just because you're seeing him drive around Bucharest, it's not even, think about it, he's locked down to Bucharest and the municipality of Bucharest, right? He can't leave that. Just because you see him driving around in the new McLaren he just rented, all right, it doesn't mean he's actually free. The whole point of Andrew Tate is to sell the illusion that the media is against him, and this is all part of it. So don't fall for the scams. But no, it's basically being out of bail while trial's proceeding. Now, if he does anything stupid while he's out on bail, they're going to revoke all of those rights. And it said that in the condition of his house arrest. All right. So you guys, like, honestly, you guys have to start reading this stuff. If you care about this guy as much as you guys are out here arguing with him, you can't be ignorant arguing for this guy, because you make yourself look stupid. You have to read the indictment records. You have to read the conditions of the judicial control that Andrew Tate is currently under. You have to read, motherfuckers. All right. Because that's how you get to understand what's going on. And I'm sure I'm not actually coming at you. I'm just saying this out loud, right? Because I've been getting a lot of messages from a lot of people, right? But it's one of those things where I'm letting y'all know, just read it. Like half of y'all, I can just tell you right now, I'll bet you 5 bands right now on the spot. If you got one of these arguments, well, there's no evidence or there's no proof, I bet you 5 bands right now you didn't read that indictment record. Because if you read the indictment record, now we have to kind of dive into that record, right? What they were accusing Tate of, or at least charging Tate of. And then we go compare that to some of the evidence that not only were leaked, but some of the evidence that were provided by Andrew Tate himself. And then when you start comparing those two together, it gets pretty difficult to uphold an argument that Tate is innocent and there's no evidence against him. It's just at this point, like a lot of people who are doing that now, like these tater tots, y'all don't understand what's going on. But let's continue, right? Let's continue. He says, on May 18th, in the early hours of the morning, anti-mafia prosecutors descended on 10 houses in Bucharest, Brala, Ivlov, and Gurishiro. I am butchering these names. Simultaneously, 6 searches were also carried out in Great Britain. Okay, so we know who else is a citizen from Great Britain. All right, we already know who that is. It's about a file with numerous accusations: trafficking of minors, human trafficking, pimping, money laundering, sexual intercourse with a minor, child pornography, attempted sexual corruption of minors, computer forgery, intellectual forgery, forgery in signatures, private and fraudulent use. According to the prosecutors, the criminal group was established in 2012 in Bucharest, acting in a coordinated manner until now. The group was specialized in the recruitment of sexual exploitation of female persons on the territory of Great Britain. Who else was in Great Britain that ran away from charges right when the UK was investigating them? Andrew Tate, who is connected to the guy that we're currently reading about right now, this gentleman right over here. Oh, it's Andrew Tate. So when they're talking about houses being raided in Bucharest, I hope the gears are spinning, because we're all focused on Andrew Tate, right? And we're blaming Dicot for not having evidence against Tate, which they do, by the way. But you don't realize how big this case file is. They're not just looking at Andrew Tate. They're looking at everyone around Andrew Tate and piecing the connections together. And for you tater tots sitting in the back seat that doesn't understand what's going on here, allow me to explain. What's happening here is these houses that were raided were all houses that were closely connected to Andrew Tate. But again, there's no evidence of trafficking. There's no evidence of Andrew Tate being connected to child pornography. There's no evidence of Andrew Tate being connected to raping a minor. There's no evidence of that. Meanwhile, they're literally, it's like Andrew Tate is in a puddle, not in a puddle, in an ocean, surrounded by a bunch of fucking, like, listen, bro, there's blood in the water for this guy, okay? And there's a bunch of sharks just circulating because he knows it's done, right? So again, one of the last comparisons to Epstein, right? Because he got found hanging in the jail. And I'm not saying or wishing anybody delete themselves or anything like that. But I want you to look deeper at what Andrew Tate is saying, because he repeats the fact that, he might get deleted because this is the steps. First, they cancel you, then they jail you for no reason, then you die, right? Which, okay, that's interesting. But if you look at the circumstances surrounding that, it's less likely that the Romanian government took out Andrew Tate or will take out Andrew Tate, and more likely that the mafia would be the ones who have a better interest in taking this guy out, especially since his mouth, this blabbermouth, is the whole reason why this case is wide open right now to everybody. So if at any point in time this man finds himself deleted in a jail cell, it's not. I hope you know this, because I know a lot of tater tots going to say, "See, it's the Matrix." It's true. It's not because of that. It's because this guy has serious mob ties, and he's been bragging about it to the rest of the world. And you think that's not going to come with consequences? Let's just be real. Let's continue reading. $3 million. 3 million euros. How was the money laundered? The victims were promoted through advertisement posted on various escort sites in Great Britain as persons offering sexual services for a fee. Thus, according to the prosecutors, the members of the criminal group obtained from 2012 to 2022 the sum of approximately 3 million euros following the sexual exploitation of several women who were forced to continue the activity through threats and active violence directed against themselves or family members. The sum of money was sent to Romania through transfers to bank accounts and through rapid transfer systems, later real estate and movable goods that were purchased in names of group members as well as the names of their entourage in order to create an appearance of legality. So money laundering. Again, we're focused on the 13 years that Tate might get for trafficking in continued form. No one is focusing on the fact that this guy bragged about tax evasion openly and money laundering. It's okay. And Dicot has screenshots of text messages between Andrew Tate and other women pretty much admitting that he launders money. Let's continue. So we're going to go into the, in order to create appearance of legality, members of the groups were registered as employers or employees of the commercial company owned in Great Britain, right? Child pornography. Regarding committing the crimes of sexual intercourse with a minor and child pornography, the prosecutors noted the fact that during 2021, one of the leaders of the organized group, after recruiting with the help of other members, a 17-year-old teenager, taking advantage of her obviously vulnerable situation, he repeatedly has sexual relations with the minor and filmed the scenes. The man wanted to have the recordings that he could use to blackmail the victim, which threatened to make public. Related to the crime of corruption of minors, DICOT shows that the same individual between October 21 and February 2021, taking advantage of the precarious financial situation of a family, tried to get a parent to make one of his children available to him in order to have sexual acts with them. Holy shit. Yo, these guys, man, when you look at the people around him, because all of this, they're not mentioning Tate by name, but they know the person this guy's associated with it. Like, it's not even difficult at this point. They know the house in Bucharest and all the other villas that were raided. They know the UK operations. They know about that. This guy's been running these operations for a very long time, and he never stopped. Let's continue. This is going to be the fake vaccination certificate. The prosecutors also found that some of the members of the criminal group fraudulently obtained COVID vaccination certificates without taking the vaccine, and later obtained green vaccination certificates by entering the data of false vaccination certificates into the computer system. Everything happened between July and August of 2021 in context of the pandemic restriction. Again, these are the dates that coincide very closely with what the time frame Andrew Tate is bragging about, right? What the DICOT prosecutors confiscated. The following house searches, right? These are the houses. The sum of 136,000 euros and 400 pounds on luxury watch, estimated at approximately 60,000 euros, a box containing a green vegetable substance, that's weed. Come on, a box containing green vegetable. Just say it's weed, bro. It's weed. Let's go. A gun with rubber balls. Huh? What? 3 knives, 32 cartridges, medical certificates, and prescriptions stamped and signed in white, 12 mobile phones, a laptops, 2 tablets, and 4 memory sticks. Also following the searches, 4 vehicles were seized, including 3 luxury cars with a total value of approximately 335,000 euros. In addition, insurance seizures were applied on 4 real estate properties, namely a luxury villa, 2 apartments located in a residential complex, and a commercial space with an estimated value of approximately 1 million euros. So that's what they got on this guy right here, right? So that's a guy that we know Andrew Tate for a fact is connected to. He has connections with, and now it's even they've already made a connection that this guy's mob ties. He has serious mob ties. But not only that some of the operations he was running very well connected to Tate's. And how do we know? Because those same villas they listed off, right? Those same villas they listed off were the same ones that were same property that were also raided by DICOT for Andrew Tate. They're the exact same place and location, right? So he likely was one of the guys managing or running one of the houses that Tate ran. And they're gonna uncover all this. Again, you tater tots are not ready for what these prosecutors are gonna do. You guys are not ready. You guys are too focused on Andrew Tate to see the bigger picture. You're literally closed-minded, which by definition makes you a matrix bot. Okay, that's by definition. The fact that you can't see the bigger picture and what's happening here, you're a bot. But let's go back. Look at all the cars they took from this guy, right? They got a Porsche, they got a Lamborghini, they got a Mercedes AMG, they got another Mercedes S-Class, they got a Rolls Royce, and look at him. He's the one you just posted up, just taking pictures and whatnot with all that stuff. So they got him. All right, they know he's connected to Tate while they're investigating Tate. So when you guys are still saying, "Oh, there's no fucking evidence, bro," like, come on, there's no evidence. No. They got evidence. It's just you guys don't want to see the truth yet. And that's fine. It's okay. Reality is a better teacher of whatever it is you guys got going on over there. So we got another super chat from Super Herrera. Shout out to you for the $2 super chat. We didn't have to say nothing, just showing support. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So let's get to more stuff, right? So I got another information about a tweet. Right. And this had to do a lot more with guys who were in this guy's circle. Right. And this guy kept popping up. And I'm like, who is this? Who is this dude? Right. This Iggy guy. Because a lot of people were saying, yo, dude, you got to check out this Iggy guy. He's got problems. All right. Not only does he have problems, he's actually connected to the Tates. Right. And people are saying that this guy might be a guy that maybe either mentored Tate on the pimping aspect of the OnlyFans, keeping the houses in order, managing the women, managing the bottom bitches. And now, why would you say that? It's because this guy's name is Iggy. Oh my god, shit! I'm gonna butcher this, but it's Iggy Semmelweis. Iggy Semmelweis, right? That's his name. He's a Jewish guy that basically is been pimping in Romania, and some would say he's been pimping for a while. I mean, that's basically his MO, right? And you can see from some of the tweets here that he's posted. So here's one that they're talking about. This is his account right up here. He says, "Men who elevate and adulate sex are just as bad. G's recognize seduction and sex, and seduction, sex, and women as nothing more than tools to be utilized in order to build a man's wealth." Okay, right off the bat, that's already problematic, right? He's saying G's recognize seduction, sex, and women as nothing more than tools to be utilized in order to build a man's wealth. I wonder how you're going to utilize those women as tools. Is it having those tools sit in front of webcams and strip so they can make you money? How is the wealth building going for that, dude? So that understanding is the true red pill. Again, right? Deep down at Beach Muscles, you know it. And Beach Muscles, I think, is Anthony Johnson's Twitter profile. I may be wrong on that. Can somebody in the chat correct me? Is Beach Muscles Anthony Johnson's Twitter profile? And why would this known pimp and trafficker be talking to the president of the manosphere? It doesn't make any sense. Someone verify that in chat for me. Here's another tweet. He says, "Marriage is a woman's whoring herself out. She provides occasional access to her vagina in exchange for financial security for herself and her children." So it just kind of gives you an idea how these guys actually view, women, right? And it actually goes hand in hand with what we've been saying before, right? About a lot of these guys, and even the videos we reacted before, right? They've been saying that, hey, guys, the guys who were in the war room, like that one video, he was telling you that the reason why he left was because a lot of these guys, it turned out they were getting a little misogynist, dog. They were getting a little too women hating, right? So let me bring a couple more things up here, right? Because this isn't it by this. This isn't just it by this guy. There were a lot more tweets and DMs that were leaked from this bozo over here, and it was absolutely just interesting to see it all go down, right? So let me pull this up here so you guys can see it. It's a photo, but I got the zoomable link right over here. So give me 1 second. We'll go with this one, right? So we got all of his tweets right here, right? So here's the ones we just read on the far right, right? And then if we look at the left, we're seeing this simulation has rules. Might makes right. The winner writes the history. The victor takes it all. Young, beautiful women are the prize. Yeah, okay. That's got a whole different meaning now when we know what Tate's all about, right? He says, "I am one of the war room, one of the hashtag war room of Wudan. I am charged with transforming my men into heroes of greater purpose, will, and power. Nothing stops us." Okay, so remember when I told you that they're investigating these guys under organized criminal crime, right? Like the mob, right? So if Tate was the mob boss, this guy would be like a capo, or maybe as high as a consigliere, right? But at this point, it seems like he's a capo because he's got his own crew of tater tots that he manages, and I'm sure within his own crew of tater tots, there's also like a manager that manages that, right? So it looks like he's admitting here that he's a part of the war room and he's got some power. As a matter of fact, there's even another Romanian article that actually verifies this. But here's another one. It says, "You can't tell a woman anything. They don't listen. But they can hear. They can hear the sound of a man who's fed up with their bullshit, going out, getting his dick sucked. They either get with the program or get replaced by a girl who will. They all know that score." Imagine dating a guy that has this kind of mentality, or dating a guy that's part of a group managed by a guy who has this mentality. I mean, ladies, how do you think you're going to fare in that relationship? Just being real. Right, let's continue. He says, "Every woman should be married. No man should." What sense does that mean? But it gives you an idea of what these guys' mentality is, right? Because they believe in dealing with multiple women and they should be obsessed with their husbands. Well, meanwhile, the husbands are free to go, chase more poon, right? Get more, people as part of their harem or whatever you want to call it, right? It says, call me when your girl is so hot, traffic slows to a crawl. Then she's walking along the sidewalk. Wait, what? What? It says, call me when your girl is so hot, traffic slows to a crawl when she's walking along the sidewalk. All right, he's talking about how hot his girl is, right? Because I'll tell you then, why isn't she on webcam making you bank? Oh, so he's basically saying, if you got a hot girl, why ain't she on? Hey, bitch, you can make some money. That reminds me of that South Park episode, right? When Butters was selling kisses in the playground. Y'all remember that? When Butters was selling kisses and he was going out there trying to recruit them girls, like, hey, Sadie, bitch, you can make some That's what this shit reminds me of, bro. Dude is literally posting, hey, if you got a hot girl, why ain't she making you money on webcam, huh? Why are you wasting all of that talent? Listen, bro, again, more evidence is going to come out, aside from the fact that he's already proved he's part of the Tate Empire, right? More evidence is going to come out that this guy has some serious issues, bro. And he's probably worst of the worst, and you can see why guys like Tate gravitate to that bozo, right? So he says, don't tell me you got game until you're showing me your woman's breaking herself for you. That's crazy, right? More of them where he's like, I can't read this one up here. He says, men need to learn the skills required to emotionally compare their women to make themselves into the income-producing assets that is truly their only value. Like, you guys, chat. What are we doing? This is getting bad, dog. Like, look at this. He says, anything less is a waste of time and money. Simple truth, but how many men are willing to face it head on? What? Oh, how many men are willing to pimp out their girls head on? You bozos out there, you're not living your life until your girl's an OnlyFans prostitute. Okay, that's just how this shit works. What else? It says, my webcam girl is home 100% of the time, has no time nor interest in going out. She sleeps, cooks, clean, does her shows, gives me all the money, gets railed by me and our girlfriends, then smiles, thanks me, and goes and does it again tomorrow. Welcome to the war room. Hey, if you want to tell me this dude is not under investigation right now, I got a bridge in France to sell you, okay? It's a nice deal. Don't worry about it. You can't get it anywhere else. Listen, dog, these guys and the people around them are just proving what fat sack of shits they are, okay? Listen to what he's saying. He's basically putting the message out there and saying, guys, if you got a hot girl, join the war room and let's pimp her out. Come on. I got my girls making me money, right? And then again, it goes to show you, especially the guys that fall for this type of mentality, it shows you how they actually view women, all right? You guys are objects. Now, where have we heard this shit before? Oh, wait, that's right. Feminist women complain about being objectified by men. Here we have a whole group of red pillar manosphere cucks who are doing nothing else but objectifying women and reducing them to nothing else but income-producing assets. That's crazy. Imagine if your son joined this group and you're his mother. Just think about that for a second, right? But there's more, right? So now you go into the war room and there's more shit going on in there, right? Because this guy's a legitimate scumbag. This one's going to be hard to read, but let me see if I can pull up because I had it uploaded to StreamYard here, but I can pull up the actual version and see if I can zoom in. All right, so we're going to go top down, all right? Great Hall, the war room. So the one with the girl in the tank top right here, it says, girl ordering me food, planting seeds for the webcam. So this is a girl who, right up here in this photo, it seems as though she's not part of that webcamming yet, but she is one of these girls that is dating this Jewish guy that we're talking about here, right? So he says, girls order me food, planting seeds for a webcam. Planting seeds for a webcam. What do you mean planting seeds for a webcam, bro? So meaning you're slowly trying to walk her into prostituting herself? Oh, that's interesting. I wonder what the Romanian government is going to do with this. And then Iggy says, PhD test, right? Yeah, passed every time. Been one of my girls for a while, looking to repurpose for webcam now. So always brings me things and hits me up first. So this girl that's dating this guy is texting this Iggy character to let him know that he wants to turn this girl into a webcam. And then Iggy says, "You're special, baby. We got to find some way for us to make the big money together and take over the fucking world. Let me work on this. Got to work on this." And he has that in quotation mark right now. All right. So that's what he's telling this guy right over here, DM. He's telling this guy to tell her, right? So to get her mind working or warming towards the idea of prostituting herself. All right. And then he says, "That's a spell" on the bottom of it. And DM says, "Thanks for the pep talk, Iggy. She's saying how much she hates her job." All right. Now what better way to find her way to warm in by a girl who's broke and hates her job, right? I mean, she's dating you, so why not just make some money online while she's why and give it all of you to you, right? While you sit on your ass and do nothing. But he thanks Iggy for the pep talk. All right. And then Iggy says, "We've met, so you know my voice inflections and tones. Say it the way you hear me inside." What? Wait, hold up. He says, "We've met, so you know my voice inflections and tones. Say it the way you hear me inside your head." Pause, bro. Did you pause on that, dog? All right. He says, "It will plant deep." Right. So he's basically saying, Iggy, this guy, is basically saying, say what I just told you the way I said it. All right. Imagine my voice in your head right now talking to that girl. All right. That's the only way it's going to work to get her to start camming for you. This shit is sick, but also shows you the organized process that the Tate crime family has amassed right now. Okay. And you can't call it anything else other than that, with the mob ties and everything else that's being uncovered, the trafficking, the drugs. Okay. The Tate has a crime family. It's official. The Romanian Tate crime family. That's what you got over there. All right. So this guy, this Iggy guy, he's giving advice to his associates, okay, on how, or made men, because this guy seems like he's been in the word room, right? So he's giving his assistance to his made men to pull in more money for the organization, for the family, right? So it just shows you that Dykot isn't too far off when they're prosecuting Tate for organized crime, because this shit's ran like a mob. And then DM says, "That's totally what I need to say. And yes, how you say it. I'll wait until post smash." So he's saying, "I'll wait until after I had sex with her. Today, post smash. Wait to drop it. Wait until you're banging her and she's going nuts." So the best time to convince your girl to start working for you cam-wise is while you're having sex with her. So you're going in on her and say, "Hey, baby, you know it'd be a great idea? Then this dick right here, yeah, you just showing them titties to the rest of the world on OnlyFans. Huh? What, baby, stop. What's going on?" Imagine that conversation. Like, yeah, you gonna really like this on OnlyFans, huh? What? I thought my body was for you, Papa. What's going on, right? Pause. He says, "Yeah, all right." So then Iggy says, "Best when she's on top, riding you face to face. Breathe it on her neck, in her ear as she's coming." Oh my God. So if she's about to come, that's where you let loose your business idea. That's yo, bro, this is twisted, dog. This is fucking twisted, bro. Let's continue. He says, "I'm playing YouTube Tropical House videos on mute." This is at the very bottom. All right, on mute to make her subconsciously feel like she's missing out. Look at this, bro. So look at all these mental games Mr. Iggy over here is coaching his men to, right? So then we go up into the top, right? It says, "One of my past girls found out I'm hanging with this girl tonight and is getting jealous. She's another one of my cam girls. I would think to make her a webcam girl." So he's asking Iggy the question. Listen, for those of you bozos and tater tots that are asking, where's the proof, bro? Where's the proof that he ran this? I don't know what else to tell you. That you guys are just not looking. But then you can see he sends various photos of his girl that he's currently dealing with right now. All right, that he currently convinced to start camming while he's trying to deal with the other one on the upper left corner over there. So a bunch of sick fucks is what we're seeing over here. That's not all, folks. All right, that's ran by this Iggy guy, the guy you see in the hat right here. So I kept looking because I'm like, yo, what, what are we doing here? Like, who is this guy? Because he seems like he's got more power in the Tate organization than we think, right? So maybe he might not even be a capo in the Tate crime family. He might actually be more like more like the underboss, right? Because we think Tristan is the underboss. No, they're both the bosses, right? But I think he might actually be the underboss or a consigliere, right? If you guys know what I'm talking about, I'm using mafia terms because, I mean, that's exactly what these guys are. They're mafiosos at this point, bro. Like, my mind is convinced, okay? At first, I thought Tate was capping about this, but he's not lying, bro. These guys are all mafiosos, and you get whatever punishment you get, dog. So I came across this article as I was doing my research on Iggy, because there's not a lot of stuff about him, right? And this was written about 3 days ago. All right. So in January 2023, Andrew Tate was alone in a Romanian prison cell, but he hadn't been abandoned. The War Room Network has my life completely in order while I'm unjustly detained. That's a quote from Tate. Tate told his legions of followers in January 2023, I have brothers on the outside who have taken on my responsibilities, he added. At the time, the 36-year-old influencer and self-proclaimed misogynist wasn't surrounded by sports cars, cigars, and bikini-clad women that have become a staple of his online content. The British-American Tate, his brother Tristan, and two alleged female accomplices had been arrested and detained in December 2022 on suspicion of a number of alleged crimes, including human trafficking, rape, and forming an organized crime group. None of the allegations have yet been proven in a court of law, while Tate and the brothers, while the Tate brothers and their representatives have consistently denied the charges against them. All right. So despite being formally charged in June 2023, Andrew Tate remains hugely popular from his home just north of Bucharest, where he was under house arrest until August of 2023. Tate continues to post online about the War Room and his other businesses. Tens of thousands of men, if not more, have been estimated to sign up for his online money-making courses. A virtual army bombards social media with clips of Tate videos. Millions of devotees take the social media every day to view his content. And they're not lying about that, because Tate owns a ton of social media accounts. On Twitter alone, he has about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 Twitter profiles connected to Andrew Tate, all with a total sum of 9 or 10 plus million followers. If you want to talk about Matrix, that's that right there. Imagine 19 social media accounts, all right, connected to you, all just spreading positive propaganda about you, right? Of course. So when you see these tater tots coming in with these crazy ass facts or stats, it's from one of these profiles. Let me read that off real quick. You got Cobra Tate, which got 7.1 million subscribers. You got @Tate News, which got 65,000 subscribers. You got Tate War Plans at 32,000 subscribers. You got Uncorrupted Men at 4,600 subscribers. You got Young Kings Grow at 15.6 thousand subscribers. You got Tate Pledge at 7.2 thousand subscribers. You got Hate You Official at 19,000 subscribers. You got T8 Rabbit. This is all Twitter, by the way, at 14,000 subscribers. You got Discovered TRW at 11.7 thousand subscribers. You got Emergency Tate at 51.3 thousand subscribers. You got Reach TRW, and TRW is the War Room. All right, it's just an abbreviation for it, right? So it's what do you call it? It's 66.5 thousand subscribers. You got Masterful Poll, which is another alt account for Andrew Tate, at 27.8 thousand subscribers. You got The Real World, or HU_The Real World, which is at 20.9 thousand subscribers. You got Morpheus Resist at 456,000 subscribers. You got Morpheus Central at 59,000 subscribers. You got The Talisman, or the Tate the Talisman, at 1.69 million subscribers. Okay, and then not even counting Rumble and some of these other things. Like, bruh, when people are talking about this guy, he's being persecuted, the media is attacking him. I'm sorry, bro. I barely have a Twitter, dog. I barely have an Instagram, dog. And yet this guy who's crying about the Matrix nonstop has 19 different social media accounts, okay, all dedicated to promoting propaganda for him. So, if anything else, there's no one who is closer than the Matrix than this guy. Not only he has the media reach, because he has that, but he has access to powerful politicians while out here screaming, "Woe is me, I'm hurt." Like, bro, you got all the power and influence in the world at your fingertips right now. So much so, you're able to influence politicians. You're able to influence potentially somebody's daughter who's powerful. There's a lot of things going on here, chat, and these tater tots just don't want to read. I'm sorry. They suck at reading. I'm dyslexic, bro. I know my reading is bad, okay? But, like, the fact that y'all are unwilling to just do the reading, it says a whole lot. So let's continue here, right? Most media coverage of Tate and his brother Tristan has understandably focused on the two men themselves. But as Tate has previously said, you won't go far alone. A man, in his view, needs powerful brothers to call on because lone wolves are never champions. For Tate, some of those brothers are the senior members of his so-called war room. As he said on Telegram in January 2023, the War Room Network has my life completely in order while I'm unjustifiably detained. I have brothers on the outside who have taken on my responsibilities. While there is no evidence these men are involved in any illegal activity, and none are in any way linked to the charges currently laid against the Tate brothers in Romania, they either promote his ideology, protect his image, or participate in some of the activities that make up his personal brand. Several of them have sought to do all this while hiding their real identities. According to Nika Yankowicz, author of the How to Be a Woman Online, and an expert on online abuse, it's just as important to hold the network's Tate built into account as it is to focus on Tate himself, given the influence and following the Tate ideology has gathered in recent years. Patrick Hammerson, a senior researcher at the UK anti-extremism advocacy group Hope Not Hate, said, we cannot forget that Tate is just one of many people in his sphere. He added, some of them are close to him and appear in his videos as they support and amplify his views so their own followers, ensuring the War Room audience remains engaged and appears to be a lucrative business, with reports estimating the Tate's online courses bringing him millions of dollars a month. Those who gain access to the War Room, meanwhile, are asked to send $7,900 to either a cryptocurrency wallet or a bank account. They are then asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement. However, some have spoken out about what they saw there. The War Room is basically a bunch of Telegram chats, one former member claimed in May 2023. There's a chat for business, a chat for girls, for money, a chat for freelance, a chat for fitness, and all that stuff. The same former members said that in person, War Room meetups also took place. According to several vlog reviews from individuals who say they had access to the War Room, members still need to pay thousands of dollars to be admitted to the more elite chat rooms after paying their entry fee. While there are others who are more open about their association with the War Room, Bellingcat has decided to focus on a smaller number of individuals who have been cautious about sharing their true identities. Number one, the War Room leaders in the shadows. Yul Sullivan. Oh! Where have I seen this face before? Wasn't it the same clown on Fresh and Fit talking about, I don't know what anyone's talking about. The Tates are completely innocent, okay? I've known the guys for a very long time, and they have no evidence and no facts. Come to say, you're a hidden member? Oh, I didn't expect to see you here. This is so freaking interesting. So this guy, I thought he was Tate's security guard. I didn't know you were a War Room member, my guy. Now the plot is thickening. So I'm glad everyone around Tate is now being investigated. Y'all are, chat, I'm gonna be real with y'all for a second. Chat. I honestly thought this guy was a security guard because that's where he presented himself on Fresh and Fit. He said he was like security, something like that. So it turns out this guy is a high-ranking member in the War Room. Again, well, I said, if we're looking at these like a crime family, right? You got the bosses at the top, the Tate brothers. All right, you got the underboss, the conciliary, and the capos, right? So this guy is probably one of the capos in the organization. But let's continue reading. This is getting interesting. Damn, Yul. He says, I'm here to represent the Tate brothers and the War Room. He states at the beginning of July 2023. YouTube interview. He goes on to describe his background, a soldier in the Australian Armed Forces who then went into the intelligence world. Just like the people around Epstein, right? Sorry. I'll wait. Who has worked across the Middle East and Africa. He further claims that he met the Tates after Andrew helped out with an unnamed task in Romania and then thanked them by taking them into one of his facilities in Ukraine. I have various weapons and tactics training facilities around the world. Wait a minute. What kind of unnamed task in Romania did Andrew Tate help this guy out with? Can somebody help me out? What unnamed, I hope they find that out. What unnamed task could Andrew Tate possibly help a former Australian Security Special Forces intelligence agent with? This is crazy. This is crazy, bro. I wonder what he did. Maybe he murdered a prostitute, or maybe he got caught with his hands in a cookie jar. Maybe there's just all these different possibilities. We just don't know. It's easy to find Satorial Shooter's real name with a simple online search. Yul Sullivan, a former director of international security at a global healthcare company, in several interviews online, including the above from July 2023, interviewers referred to him by name as Yul, all right, or Jewel. And it has been noted that his full name in a broadcast about Tate arrested by Athena 3, a Romanian news channel. Some of Sullivan's public comments appear to echo the Tate's worldview. In August of 2022, Vice News visited a war room event in Romania. The documentary Sullivan suggests that it's acceptable for Tate to use phrases like "my women" and adds that men at certain levels can provide for multiple women at the time. So, guys, this is whoa. Okay, he says, however, he also claimed that in the same documentary that misogyny was not what the war room was about, and if anyone exhibited racist or sexist behavior, they would be out straight away, in quotes. In a June 2023 appearance on a popular American podcast, a podcast which just a few weeks later would host a prominent American far-right extremist who openly denied the Holocaust. Can you guys guess what podcast they're referring to? Hey, chat, right now, put the name of the podcast, and I'll let you know if you're right. Let's see who amongst my chat has been paying attention. Put who in the month of July 2023 that was featuring this guy, Mr. Yul Sullivan. All right, which podcast are they talking about? Put that in the chat. I'll let you guys know. If you're right or not. All right. In a reply to questions from Bellingcat, Sullivan confirmed his identity and stated he was one of the leaders of the War Room. All right, so he's a capo, mentoring members and running events and seminars. He described the War Room as a very positive and supportive community of men that focuses on all areas of life, from fitness to business to nutrition. Let me take a look. Let me tell y'all, if you guessed Fresh and Fit, you're right. This guy was on Fresh and Fit. The notorious interview they're talking about was on Fresh and Fit. And later on, guess who Fresh and Fit hosted that ended up dropping multiple N-bombs along with a bunch of black women posted up with a nice photo right there next to him. Fresh and Fit. So again, I hope they investigate Fresh and Fit too. I hope Myron and Walter Weeks, I hope y'all get investigated too, because the ties are just getting too close. All right. And then we go to the next member, Miles Sonkin, aka Iggy Semmelweis. This is the guy we just got reading about, and guess who is also considered a hidden member of the War Room that also leads the pack, right? Here he is right here in the screenshots. All right. And remember, we read his back and forths with some of his pupils already. Okay. So here's the article about this guy. So unlike Sullivan, another senior member in the Vice documentary refused to speak on camera. Oh, sharp man. Says a gray-bearded self-described hypnotist who calls himself Iggy Semmelweis, the name of a 19th century Hungarian physician. That's interesting. A screenshot from a Vice documentary. That's this guy right over here. In the documentary, Semmelweis is described as Andrew Tate right-hand man. I knew it! He's got to be the underboss of the family. He's got to be the underboss of the Tate family. I was saying this, Chad. He's either the underboss or consigliere, if we're gonna put it in mafioso terms, right? And he's considered Tate's right hand man. So he's occupying one of those spots, chat. Yo, this is getting deep. Let's continue. So he says, second in command. So he's got to be the underboss, right? He's got on his Twitter account, he has more than 56,000 followers. Semmelweis regularly promotes the War Room, speaks of himself as a senior day-to-day leader, shares content praising the Tates, and retweets conspiracies and anti-trans content from prominent far-right Twitter accounts. Okay, prominent far-right Twitter accounts. A lot of you guys are saying, well, Duke, you comparing Tate to the conservative Jeffrey Epstein, that's so weird. No. These guys love far-right conservative commentators. They love them, okay? Matter of fact, so much so, a lot of these commentators on the conservative side have adopted the Tates. So it's not me just saying it. There's proof. These guys are tied. The Andrew Tate, as soon as this is all said and done with, Andrew Tate, it will be known as the conservative Epstein. I'm calling it right now. You heard it first on this channel. The War Room has never been stronger as it is now. This is a quote from Semmelweis, right? Said in a June 2023 tweet, our ranks grow daily as we attract the best and the brightest men from around the world. Semmelweis is no newbie to the Tates, or as a scroll through his Twitter feed makes it clear to their worldview. In 2019, Semmelweis tweeted an endorsement of one of Andrew Tate's webcam courses, stating that women exist as assets to be upgraded by men. Connections, anybody? Connections, anybody? Because we're finding a bunch of them right here. All right, so it says in an effort to verify whether these claims were correct, Bellingcat used several publicly available paid and unpaid online search tools to look for the name Miles Gary Sunken. This search revealed a number of potential contact details. Bellingcat journalists entered a potential phone numbers revealed by the search into a mobile phone contact book, then checked common social media apps such as WhatsApp and Signal to see if the numbers were attached. So what they're trying to do is try to triangulate basically this guy. They're saying, okay, we got a bunch of phone numbers pulled up. And here's the thing, no matter what, a lot of people, y'all can't escape data leaks. All right, data leaks is out there. The chances are that your information is out there, and whatever number you've used in the past, if you've ever signed up for what do you call it, email subscription or whatever you call it, they got your information somewhere in the database, right? So they found a lot of this stuff connected to this guy and tried to triangulate to find out what the real info is. So that's what they're explaining here. Bellingcat's journalist, and this is real journalism, Candace Owens, you fraud, entered potential phone numbers revealed by this search into a mobile phone WhatsApp signal to see if the numbers were attached to any accounts. One of these numbers was attached to a WhatsApp account with a profile photo of a man strongly resembling Semmelweis alongside a woman herself strongly resembling who has been seen with Semmelweis in a War Room promotional videos. So, yeah, that looks like him. That looks exactly like him, guys. So this is the photo they found, and I'm assuming like right here is where the woman is. So they found this photo, and they're comparing it to this guy, and this is what they found off the WhatsApp research. And honestly, chat, it kind of looks like him. What do y'all? Hey, put a 1 in the chat if this guy looks like this guy, or these are two different people. Chat, I'm gonna have you guys vote. Chat. Let me know. Put a 1 if you think they're the same people, or put a 2 in the chat if you believe that this isn't the same guy. Let's actually have an honest conversation because we're doing the research alongside. So I personally think this is the same guy. I mean, the mustache, the way the head is shaped, the ears, it looks like. I mean, look at this, right? You look at his ear right over here, like his right ear. What do you call it? Not his right, his left ear. Compared to his other left ear, it has the same shape. So y'all let me know. M. Dot, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. M. Dot says, someone in the chat mentioned FNF. Sneeko are hidden War Room members. Do you think Jay Waller and PBD are hidden members as well? I think so. I think Patrick Bet-David, definitely Adam Sosnick, those guys are definitely in the higher upper echelons of the War Room, along with Candace Owens' husband. I think Candace Owens' husband is also tied to the war room as well, right? It just a lot of these networks that are supporting Andrew Tate. You got to realize these guys probably have war room ties. They're probably part of these band of brothers or mafia group that is putting out this information. That's why it makes so much sense why a lot of these guys are putting out pro-Tate propaganda. Matter of fact, I won't be surprised if Tucker Carlson and some of his camp are part of the whole war room upper echelon. You'll never know. You'll never know, especially with the way Tucker Carlson got treated. It was hilarious. But let's continue. We got B2 Cool with the $5 super chat. B2 Cool says, yo, what's up, Brody? That right-hand man of Tate with the beard looks like pure evil. The way he was looking at that pic. Facts. And we even see the screenshots of how he messages his war room pupils back and forth. And this guy thinks pimping is the ultimate shebang. So realistically, they're both scumbags, if you ask me. But let's get back into this article. Shout out to you, B2 Cool. So here's a third individual, right? So Jonathan Bowe is another guy who's part of the war room. In July 2022, Semmelweis stated on Twitter that an anonymous user with the handle First Priest Wudan had been my right hand since the earliest days of the war room, making possible much of whatever little I've been able to accomplish, and boasted about how, with the new systems First Priest Wudan is putting into place, the war room will be capable of serving 10K men easily, or 10,000 men easily, right? So there's one of the posts from the that iggy guy. All right. So First Priest of Wudan, there's the post right there, right? So they're trying to figure out who this First Priest of Wudan is, right? Because if Iggy is Tate's right hand man, this First Priest of Wudan guy is the right hand man to Iggy. Right, so he's up there. He's definitely one of the capos up there, right? So let's keep reading. The First Prince of Wudan account, as of July 2023, has barely more than 1,000 followers and has only a few hundred tweets, as many of which are retweets of Andrew Tate and other content supportive of Andrew Tate. The account also isn't shy about sharing misogynistic views in exchange with Semmelweis in June 2021. First Prince mused about why women experiencing menopause were in the workforce to begin with. Later in 2021, the same account wrote that the best way to fix the United States military quick was to get rid of women. I'm telling you, these guys hate women, bro. The operator of the account claimed to have military experience, stating they were a pilot and specifically an Antarctic ice certified instructor in another 2021 tweet. That's crazy. And there's this tweet right there. I'm biased. You buy it. I'll fly it literally anywhere. I'm an Antarctic ice certified instructor. In an attempt to identify who First Priest was, we began digging into other potentially useful online content from Tate and his associates. In the comments to a 2022 Reddit post about Andrew Tate's car collection, a user linked to a fundraising page for an electric motorbike manufacturer, claiming that Andrew Tate, as well as a War Room insider, were listed as team members. While there's no mention of either on the current page, an archived version from December 2022 shows that Tate and an individual named Jonathan Bowe listed as team members. Bowe is described on the archive page as a former United States Air Force major. What? How many of y'all got an Air Force major in your ranks? God damn, this dude is connected, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. That's actually kind of concerning. A former United States Air Force major that's now part of the Tate crime family. That's interesting. All right. And an Antarctic ice landing instructor who supervises logistics and events planning for the Tates. So he just got recruited. Searching further online for the exact phrase Antarctic ice landing instructor revealed another fundraising page for the same manufacturer of electric motorbikes with both Bowe and Tate mentioned, but unlike the archived version of the other fundraising page accompanied by a photo of Bowe. So this is him right here. Holy shit. So this is the website. Jonathan brings experience in strategic vision and project management. He's a retired USA Air Force major who served as a C-17A evaluated pilot, Antarctic ice landing instructor, and Air Force Two instructor pilot during his 13 years of service. His education experience making him an invaluable source of knowledge and counsel. And then here's Andrew Tate. Andrew's a 4-time world champion kickboxer and a social media mastermind. Andrew has a passion for adrenaline, rumble motors. Oh, so this guy's flight company, Andrew Tate, is listed as a social media strategy guy for a completely different company that this guy runs, this Jonathan guy runs. But then who is this Jonathan guy? He's only an Air Force major that's a part of this guy's war room. Man, these connections run deep. And look at all of them. There's the Iggy guy. There's Tate. There's presumably the Bowe guy sitting right there because he's blurred out. And then right next to him is that Jewel guy, the security special ops, whatever. Look at all of them. Just like the mafia bosses that they are, right? So in 2023, this is from the Vice documentary. Wow. I have the privilege, and this is one of Tate's social media accounts. I have the privilege of only doing business with other war room members. I do not have the need to do business in any other way. Why should I make a stranger rich by doing business with them? It doesn't matter if you're world class. Look at them. Yeah, that's the Bowe guy right here. There he is right here. There's the Bowe guy. Holy shit. That's him. Chat, that's him. Put a 1 if you think that's the same guy, or put a 2 if it's a different guy. But they look similar to me, y'all. Yo. There's more photos. Right? And then we got this video over here.
The Tate brothers, idols to young men around the world, are facing multiple criminal charges in Romania, including counts of rape and human trafficking. But have you heard about their war room and the hidden figures that help promote their brand and ideology? Andrew Tate once described his war room as the greatest thing on the planet, bar none. To have the privilege of joining this network, you, first of all, need to be a man, and secondly, you need to pay $8,000. Some of these chat groups reportedly cost additional money to join, with suggestions of up to $4,000 for access. These 3 men may appear in war room promotional content, but they use aliases and try to keep their real identities hidden. First is Satorial Shooter, or Jules Sullivan. A former Australian soldier, Bellingcat found he is the former director of international security at a global healthcare company. In August 2022, Vice News visited a war room event. In the film, Sullivan suggested that it was appropriate for Tate to use terms like "my woman," and added that men, at certain levels, can provide for multiple women at the same time. A gray-bearded, self-described hypnotist, Iggy Semmelweis is one of the Tate's right-hand men. We found his name was really Miles Sonkin, using paid and free open-source tools. Searching the name Miles Gary Sonkin revealed several possible phone numbers. One of these numbers was attached to a WhatsApp account with a profile picture of a man strongly resembling Semmelweis. In 2019, Sonkin tweeted an endorsement of one of Andrew Tate's webcam courses, stating that women exist as assets to be upgraded by men. Bellingcat also found evidence of a third identity. Sonkin tagged an anonymous user on Twitter with the handle First Priest Wudan. Sonkin claimed that he'd been my right-hand man since the earliest days of the war room, making possible much of whatever little I have been able to accomplish. First Priest Wudan appears to have military experience, specifically a pilot, and claims to be an Antarctic ice certified instructor. It was similar to something we'd seen on a different website, a fundraising site for an electric motorbike manufacturer. There was somebody named Jonathan Bowe, a retired USAF major who served as C-17A evaluator pilot, Antarctic ice landing instructor, and Air Force Two instructor pilot during his 13 years of service. Bowe is described on the archive page as someone who supervises logistics and event planning for Tate Limited, putting on private events worldwide. On one of Tate's old Twitter accounts is a photo tagging First Priest Wudan in a photo of a man who strongly resembles Jonathan Bowe. As well, on the War Room's own Twitter account, they posted a photo of this same man strongly resembling Jonathan Bowe. In reply to questions from Bellingcat, Sullivan confirmed his identity and that he was a leader in the war room. He described the war room as a very positive and supportive community that focuses on all areas of life, from fitness to business to nutrition, and that he was proud of the work the war room does in supporting men to be the best version of themselves. Sonkin and Bowe did not respond to multiple requests for comment. Tate's deny all charges against them. These are just 3 of the men in the shadows propping up Andrew Tate.
Wow. All right, let's get the common sense skeptic of Andrew Tate, bro, because this shit's about to be lit. Let's get it, because it exposes so much more. It's not even funny. We might not actually cover all of it in one episode. We might actually do a part 1 and a part 2 for his part 2, but like, it's worth it, chat. Trust me.
Harming women and was destroying the safety of men.
Oh, hold up. B2 Cool, shout out to you for the $10 super chat. B2 Cool says Candace Owens' husband is a part of the war room. Yeah, well, listen, because there are photos out there right now, because Candace Owens actually knows Andrew Tate. She's known Andrew Tate for quite some time. There are photos out there, and even tweets out there that, like, basically it kind of insinuates that this guy's her husband essentially has like a very, very close connection to Andrew Tate's war room crew. It may not be current anymore. It may not, it may still be active. We actually don't know. But what we do know is that they are very, very well connected. I'm going to try to find that photo. But yeah, Bitsuku says, so I guess it's official to call her a female cuck. Yeah, I mean, it's more than official. It says, pluses say that he's cheating on her grifting ass. LMO. Yeah, right. Alpha Candace. I mean, she wants to run for president, so I guess. But let's continue.
Not surprisingly, at that very moment in time, Tate had been charged with and was being investigated for a 2015 rape incident in the UK. The audio voicemail recording we used in part 1, detailing how he strangled her, was part of the evidence against Tate. Other reprehensible acts committed against the victim were also part of the evidence kit, including text that read, "I loved raping you." However, after a 4-year investigation into the incident, the UK authorities declined to prosecute Tate, who had fled to Romania in the meantime while he was under investigation. In short, the UK authorities in 2015 had the opportunity to stop Tate, and they completely dropped the ball by not only allowing him to skate on these charges, which seemed to embolden him, but also by allowing him to move his operation to Romania. Here's Tate telling his fans why he made that move.
This is probably 14% of the reason I moved to Romania, because in Eastern Europe, none of this garbage flies. If you're going to go to the police and say he raped you back in 1988, so we should have done something about it then. If you go to the police and say rape me yesterday, say, okay, you got physical evidence, or is there CCTV proof? Where'd it happen? Okay, let's go interview him right now. And if it wasn't really rape, we went to the club, we got drunk, she agreed to go back to my house, we started having sex, and then we carried on having sex, and then we had sex, and she didn't say anything wrong, and then she texted me afterwards, and I didn't text back, and now she's saying I raped her. The police are like, okay, she's an idiot, bye. But no, not in the West. In the West, you can tell them that exact story. You're still fucked. You're fucked in the West. People say, why do you live in Romania? And I explain my 5 reasons. One of them is the Me Too era. They go, oh, well, you're a rapist. I say, no, I'm not a fucking rapist. But I like the idea of being able to just say to do what I want. I like being free. And if you're a man living in England or Germany or America or any of the Western world right now, you've decided to live in a country where any woman, any ex, any fucking bitch who works at Greg's who you bought a pasty from, at some point in the future can destroy your life. This Me Too era bullshit has not protected women. It's just destroyed the safety of men.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves again, so back to the main point we were making. Tate was banned across the big 5 social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. To give some context here, Tate wasn't really on people's radar at the time, so his banishment from social media only seems to be mentioned now by mainstream media in retrospect in stories announcing that Tate was reinstated on Twitter in November of 2022. You get one guess which asshole we have to thank for that. And after the reinstatement happened, the floodgates of Tate's speech were opened wide. To give you an idea how much these 2 brothers in crime love to hear the sound of their own voices, and the degree to which they are now using social media to spread their message du jour, here's a sampling of just the Twitter accounts the Tates control directly, complete with in-profile links to CobraTate.com, seemingly the largest of their websites. Andrew Tate's primary account now is @CobraTate. @TateNews_ is the one retweeted by the Tate brothers. It regurgitates everything they post. Then there's @TateWarPlans, @YoungKingsGrow, @UncorruptedMen, @TatePledge, @TheRealWorld AI, @HU4_official, @TheWhiteRabbit, @DiscoverTRW, @EmergencyTate, @ReachTWR, @TheWarRoomTWR, @MasterfulPoe, @HU_TheRealWorld, @Andrea the Cobra is most likely an alt account, @MorpheusResist, and @MorpheusCentral. Since Tate started blaming the Matrix for all of his current legal problems, saying he's now been attacked by the Matrix, he started fancying himself as a Morpheus figure and had his animators do up a bunch of vanity clips featuring him that looks like this to impress his prepubescent boy followers. Fact of the matter is, Tate doesn't resemble Morpheus in the slightest. Morpheus was a quiet leader who built others up, never degraded them, never thought of himself as exceptional, and the women on his crew were competent warriors who shared equal standing with their male counterparts. Tate is far more like a Cypher character, an underhanded wannabe.
I want to be rich. Someone important. Like an actor.
Whatever.
By the way, do you guys know that Cypher was actually Ralphie in The Sopranos?
Someone important. Like an actor.
Whatever you want.
A self-concerned narcissist who didn't care who he hurt in order to achieve his own selfish goals.
I don't believe it.
Believe it or not, you piece of shit, you're still gonna burn.
In addition to the other Twitter profiles, Tristan Tate has 4 of his own. The one that was suspended at Lives Talisman, also at Tate the Talisman, at Talis Management, and at Talisman_Tate. And in truth,
you can't claim that you're being attacked by the media, right? The Matrix, when you have all these accounts and you're using social media to your advantage. You're using bots and all these things, bro. You have just as big of a Matrix platform to disseminate information that a lot of these, they're actually more independent news are what do you call it? Independent news agencies out there. Just being real, bro. Matter of fact, you have right now, Andrew Tate has more resources in the media game than Tucker Carlson. Guaranteed. He has more media resources at his disposal than Candace Owens. And a lot of these, even the Daily Wire combined, it seems like Andrew Tate has that on lock. So how can you cry about the Matrix when you have, listen, I'm just a normal YouTuber. And there are other YouTubers out here that are just normal YouTubers. They don't have these massive social media reach and capabilities like the Tate does. They really built a freaking Matrix. It's not a joke, bro. Like this is, and some of these profiles have over hundreds of thousands of followers. Think about that.
Digital narcissistic fashion, the brothers' dozens of Twitter profiles point to more than a dozen vanity and subscription websites. CobraTate.com, FreeTate.com, WarPlans.ag, which now directs back to CobraTate.com, HustlersUniversity.ag, TheWarRoom.ag, JoinTheRealWorld.com, TatePledge.com, their BS charity website, EscapeWhileYouCan.com, connected to Morpheus Central's Twitter account, JoinTRWGlobal.com, DiscoverTRW.com, and TopG.com. Between their Rumble and their YouTube accounts, almost every move the Tate brothers make is video documented. Their main YouTube channels are Tate Stories and Tate Confidential. On Rumble, their primary account is Tate Speech by Andrew Tate. And of course, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of other accounts that rebroadcast the content that Tate's put out. This is a remnant of what was called their affiliate program, which is how the Tate influence grew even while they were banned on social media. Subscribers and fanboys could earn credits towards memberships in the various Tate programs by also getting their friends to sign up, which is why there are so many accounts that parrot every word of advice that Tates regurgitate. Now would probably be a good time to introduce the head weasel in the goal to document every single second of the Tate's collective lives in slow motion. This is Bailey Bolton, a very meek fellow who fell in love with Andrew Tate to the point where Bolton reached out to Tate and offered to fly himself to anywhere in the world Tate wanted to work for him for free. So when your social media feed is flooded with Tate strutting around shirtless and punching people that don't punch back and smoking cigars while regurgitating useless self-help nonsense, remember to curse this particular asshat as well. Okay, so from here, we're going to take information from these social accounts, news articles, and any other source we can find to dissect how Tate evolved into the sexual predator that he is today. And we're
Candace Owens, this is how you do research, okay? This is research.
mainly going to use his own words. We'll be using video clips from the nonstop interviews he does and podcasts he puts out, hours of material every day, so it's honestly very hard to keep up with Tate's speech. And seriously, just the fact that their Rumble channel is a play off of hate speech, that kind of tells you what we're in for here. Some of the interviews and videos are from early on in Tate's historical record, overlapping earlier material, and some are from very recently. In order for you to have a rough idea when these videos are from, is going by Andy's appearance. Observing his receding hair and scruffy beard make it fairly easy to track him over time on his interviews. Until he shaved his head on camera a couple of weeks back to summon the top G, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. And of course, if you see pictures of him enjoying the high life on jets or yachts that he's so famous for showing off, those are definitely all pre-arrest December 2022. In his recent library of house arrest videos, you can
Bro,
see
this photo right here, not photo, this video right here, when he was walking back and forth. This was the photo I was talking about when he just got out of jail. And I'm like, why is Tate walking like that, bro? What happened to him?
pre-arrest December 2022. In his recent library of house arrest videos, you can see he's become quite
Why
tough,
is he
probably
walking
more so than when he was
that
fighting
long?
for money, leading to reasonable accusations of steroid use.
I knew fresh
He
out.
definitely
He's
wants
walking
everyone
like
to see how big he is right now, hardly ever wearing a shirt these days. Maybe he's preening for the Romanian convicts that are waiting on him to join general population again. And when you're not admiring Andrew's pecs in his videos, he's taking pictures of himself, admiring himself in the mirror, the truest form of narcissism a person can express. In this case, wearing American flag boxers, so people who didn't see this clip think that he is still a proud American.
I also want to give a very special thanks to Romania and the Romanian people. The number of Romanian people who send me messages of support is absolutely fantastic. This is my home. I love this country. I'm going to stay here regardless, no matter what.
From all the Andrew Tate interviews and monologues we've listened to, we've done our best to distill how Andrew Tate got to where he is today. And it turns out there is a very linear progression. As we mentioned in part 1, Andrew Tate was a half-decent kickboxer in his day, padding his record among a small field of competitors. When those paychecks started coming in, the former poor boy obviously enjoyed living the high life and being the big.
What is Tristan wearing, bro? Dude, what are y'all wearing? What is going on, dog? Hey, is that his boxing costume? Why is Tristan looking like that, dog? Why y'all both have what party is this? Is that a whip? What is, hey, yo, chat, what is going on?
Yeah, flaunting his newfound minor wealth. But those paychecks stopped coming in, and they weren't that big to begin with. As he says in later interviews, some of the fights were only worth $6,000 to $7,000 per fight. Tate mentioned in another interview that his highest purse for a fight was around $100,000. When Tate concluded that kickboxing was not going to pay for his desired lavish lifestyle, he turned to drug trafficking in his adopted hometown of Luton, England. Here's him telling you that.
So when I was 24, 25, I sold drugs. Long time ago now. I can be honest and open about my past. I was a fighter, but fighting wasn't paying the bills, sold drugs, whatever. So I'm selling drugs. I didn't really like selling drugs. I didn't like the anxiety. I didn't like the idea of getting caught. I didn't like the violence, the stabbing.
Tate has claimed in interviews that he made his first $1 million by the age of 27, which would be sometime during 2014, perhaps as a result of his win over Wendell Roach, a kickboxer with only 2 kickboxing victories between October 15th of 2011 and his retirement fight July 21st of 2019. Not exactly an impressive opponent. Let's say Tate's purse for that fight was the $100,000 paycheck that he mentioned. Where do you think the other $900,000 came from to give Tate $1 million? Then Tate upped his claim, saying that 4 years later, so by 2018, he was worth $100 million.
So I was broke for a long time. I made my first million when I was, say, 27. And then I had 100 million by the time I was 31, 32.
Long after he effectively retired from the kickboxing arena, the 3 fights he had in 2020 in Romania were unlikely to affect that total significantly. And if that was the case, why would a guy worth $100 million by the time he turned 31 be fighting Romanian scrubs for pennies in 2020?
Facts! That's such a factual statement. It's so logical. Tater tots can't comprehend it. They have so much, because literally the logic goes right over their heads, right? Why would a guy worth over $100 million? Why are you fighting scrubs, bro? And these aren't exhibition matches. These are like actual fights, right? So you can't say it's Floyd Mayweather, he's worth multi-million dollars and he fights scrubs. Yeah, but those are exhibitions. So they don't affect his record. Whether he wins or he loses, it doesn't go as his official record. Floyd is still undefeated, all right? Versus Andrew Tate, those fights he took as a Mr. Worth 100 millionaire, all right? He added that to his record, almost like he was padding it, right? So they weren't exhibition fights. They were legitimate fights. They were ranked fights. Why you're worth so much money? Why? It doesn't make any sense. But again, this is the kind of logic that just goes over the heads of a lot of these tater tots. Go figure.
But Tate wasn't quite done making ridiculous exaggerations about his wealth.
I had 100 million by the time I was 31, 32. And then I became a trillionaire quite recently.
Trillionaire.
Wow. And y'all believe that? You believe this clown has more money than Bezos? You guys are so dumb. You're the reason why he's rich. You bozos, you simps, you incels. You're the reason why he's rich. This nigga's saying he's worth $1 trillion. That's a fat ass lie, bro. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let me just play the video.
Meaning 1,000 billion.
Correct. Trillionaire. The world's first trillionaire.
It's pretty obvious that Tate had no concept what a trillionaire is. So the tabloids, not asleep at the wheel on this guy, took some piss out of him for making that claim. Still, the guy has to have some money behind him while he's trying to convince people he lives full-time in a Rick Ross rap video.
I'm about to shoot a movie using all the same hoes. Bouncing through the college for the campus hoes. Promise I'm a scholar, always gotta sample those.
So where did the Tate money come from? According to Andrew Tate, after fighting failed to deliver the windfall he needed to support his lifestyle, he took the money he made in the drug trade and used it to franchise several casino locations in Bucharest through the Romanian mob. After being a drug dealer in England was making him too anxious and paranoid. Apparently, it also got him stabbed, because Tate wound up owing his drug dealer 2,500 pounds. Tate says this about the attack.
And then about 4 days later, I was walking to my car in a car park late at night, typical English weather. It was a little bit wet, dark, and I heard footsteps coming fast. And as I turned to see what the footsteps was, he attempted to stab me. And that's why anyone who knows me well knows that my finger basically came off where I put the hand, took the knife instead of my neck.
Now, balance that fact against this monologue, which is completely unrelated.
I know a lot about dealing drugs. I'm not going to say I previously dealt drugs, but let's just say I know a lot about dealing drugs. And the problem with dealing drugs is as follows. Let's say you have 20 keys. Let's say for each kilo you move, you make 10 G's, right? So that's 200 grand. Let's say let's say that's 200 grand, right? But let's say the kilo of coke costs you 100, right? So it costs you 100, you sell it for 110. 20 kilos, you make 200 grand in a month. 1 month, everything goes smooth, everything goes well, fine. The month afterwards, there's a police bust, one of your runners gets caught, gets arrested, or they stop the car, or you get robbed, which is a big problem with drug dealers because you can't get the police, and you lose 2 kilos. Now you've lost all of your profit from the last month, right? All of it. Or you have to sell every single kilo you have left for free just to pay off the debt to the guy above you.
Mr. Big Shot talking about hypothetically making 10 grand a key, when actually he had an enforcer put a knife through his hand over a 2,500 pound debt while the
Hey, you're not that guy, Tate. Come on, dog. You're not that guy, pal. Yeah, you over here flexing. Yeah, 10 pounds per key. 10,000 pounds for key. Bro, nah, it was 20. Somebody tried to stab you for a quarter of that. Come on, dog. Enough with the cap, bro. Enough. Okay, we're sick of it.
Attacker attempted to do Tate even more harm. So, yeah, why not get into bed with the mafia in casinos after your drug dealer has tried to take you out for your drug debt? Makes total sense. And here's what Tate told Tom and Christina from YouTube's Your Mom's House channel about his casino mob connections.
How do you generate your income?
The first thing is I own some casinos in Romania. There was a guy who owns 400 casinos, 3 brothers, mafia guys that own 400 casinos throughout Eastern Europe.
Whoa! You just admitted that. Like, you're just bragging about, like, just your mob ties, bro. Bro, even guys in the mafia don't talk about being in the mafia. Oh my God, dude, you're done. Bitsu Kusati for $5 super chat. So why the fuck was Aiden Ross and Tate camming up with their shirts off? Super sus and weird. Listen, bro, don't let me hold up. Let me. You want to see? Oh, I don't want to play it because like it'll get copyrighted. But like, bro, Aiden Ross is a weirdo. Aiden Ross is a weird dude, bro. Like he's weird. He literally sniffed the chair Andrew Tate sat on. That just goes to show you the mental level this kid's at. He probably eats crayons for a living, bro. I don't know. Like Aiden Ross is weird, bro.
I came up with a plan. I said, look, how about this? I'll open up your locations directly next to your biggest competitor. Worst case, the location doesn't pay any money, but at least it takes money from your competitor. I'll give you a percentage of turnover, so even if it doesn't make profit, you make money. I'll take all the financial risk. They agreed. I started opening up next to their biggest competitor. I actually did something that was kind of funny. What I tried to do was find ones in between their competitor and a Starbucks. I'd open in the middle and I'd offer loads and loads of free coffee with a barista and a sexy chick. So instead of going to Starbucks, you could just take your money and go get free coffee and gamble.
And here's what Tate was saying about himself back in the early days.
This is why I think I have a bit of a following on Twitter, because I have a unique resume. Like there's a whole bunch of guys on Twitter, but not many like world champion kickboxer, pimp, mafia associated criminal. Like I've got all
Brother Jumbie, this is perfect. This super chat is perfect. Self-snitching for clout is wild, B. Tell me about it. He's openly bragging. He's openly, I'm a mob-associated drug-dealing pimp who's a world champion kickboxer. and then he's tater tots. And then he's tater tots. They're gonna come up here and say there's no evidence. They're only charging him for something happened in 2022. He's guilty of stealing TikTok accounts. Here he is, literally openly bragging about his connections to the mob, bragging about being a pimp and a world champion kickboxer, whatever the hell. Oh my God, y'all are sleeping. Y'all are sleeping. Hello? Is somebody here? Oh, no, just a bunch of brainwashed potatoes? Okay. You tater thoughts go home. Just go home. Great Bill being a member for 3 months. Shout out to you guys. Give a big shout out or a big clap emoji for Great Bill. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate the membership. Let's continue this clown show, bro.
All this stuff, and it was like, who is this dude? Like, surely it can't all be true. Well, it's all true.
The Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, an international network of independent media centers intent on exposing crime and corruption so the public can hold power to account, tackled the claims made by the Tate brothers about their mafia casino affiliation. Here's how their investigation was conducted and what it reported, in Romanian, so we'll read the subtitles aloud for you. So Andrew Tate says he owns casinos in Romania, but Tate is someone who kind of exaggerates. So far, there is no definitive proof that the Tates are active in a Romanian gambling market. Moreover, certainly not in association with the mafia. So we set out to see if it is true. When we found out the Tates were arrested for human trafficking and rape, we searched the internet for everything about them. Then we searched their full names in the official gazette and filed a petition at the National Commercial Registry. That's how we found the Tates companies in Romania, including a company called Talisman Enterprises. The documents had some peculiar addresses in Bucharest without other details. When we pulled them up on Google Maps, most seemed like random buildings. The Tates had signed contracts with other companies that owned casinos. Those mysterious addresses were, in fact, casinos. It was surprising because it was true. The Tates make money from at least 4 casinos in Bucharest. They are called Las Vegas. We want to see what they look like. We're in one of the poorer zones of Bucharest, where there aren't rich gamblers. And the people...
So, again, there they are. These guys are putting in the legwork, bro. They're physically there. And honestly, even the casinos that he's standing in front of, it looks exactly the same design as his mansion, bro. It has the exact same red and black paint and strips and whatnot. Yo, these guys are out here doing the research, and all the tater tots are doing is just being dismissive in favor of an emotional, trust me, bro, argument. Y'all are weird, bro. There are real people out here working at this. And the fact that y'all are just so dismissive just proves you guys are just, you're brainwashed cultists. That's it.
Come here to gamble their minimum wage or pension. Obviously, this is not a fancy casino. I don't see how this matches Top G's Andrew Tate's depiction. So who are the Tate brothers' business partners? Are they really the mafia? And would the Tates really brag that they partnered with the mafia? Would they tip off everyone?
Yeah.
We started digging into them. The documents...
Yeah, I think they're that stupid. They'll brag about it.
We obtained our joint venture contracts between one of Tate brothers' companies, Talisman Enterprises, and a company called DMS Bet Live. They split the profits 50-50. The name apparently stands for the owners, the Tate brothers, Mahaisha and Sorin. The Tate brothers are mostly known for being the founders of the Romanian mixed martial arts brand RXF. They organize cage fights. These events are typically sponsored by their casinos, Las Vegas. The big brother, Mahaisha Tate, is almost invisible on social media, but we were able to find a few photos of him from many years ago on the social media accounts of those close to him. Then we started to find their families scattered across social media, meaning their friends, partners, associates. And the DMS crew is also made up of several people who have the initials tattooed on their bodies. I'm going to stop here. He says Mahaisha the Pole. This is really important. We discovered that although he was born in Romania, Mahaisha Tate also has Polish citizenship. We dug into old court files and discovered this transcript of a wiretapped meeting between a drug trafficker and his lieutenants. It says that in 2019, a Polish investor brought together several mafia clans from all over Romania to launch a casino business together. He wanted to open casinos throughout the major cities in Romania and become the main player.
Bro, that's some like... Yo, remember how like Lucky Luciano freaking basically took over the mob in New York and then started the what do you call it, the commission? That's essentially what this is. So they're saying these DMF brothers, these guys were so sharp, they decided, hey, you know, because before Lucky Luciano got to the mafia, right? Essentially, what happens is the mob was just a bunch of like ragtag group of families. They weren't really organized, right? So basically, what these Tate brothers did is they basically came in and said, hey, we see all these disorganized gangs and mob leaders here and there. Hey, how about we come together under gambling, and then you guys each run the district, bringing the profits to, you know, the top. That's crazy. That goes to show you these guys who are whoever's running the DMF group, which are the Tate brothers, they're not a joke. That's like to bring together a bunch of criminal-minded, sadistic, sociopathic people to not only follow your idea, but also kick up money back to you. You must be pulling some kind of weight. Like these, and Tate is associated with those guys. Oh no! Like these guys are insane, bro.
Off the record, a law enforcement source confirmed this wiretap is about the Las Vegas casinos. But it gets even more interesting. Just before the Tates were arrested on charges of human trafficking and rape, police raided what prosecutors say is an organized crime group behind the Las Vegas casinos. They raided over 120 people and companies involved in a case of organized crime. According to prosecutors, most of these mobsters were fictitiously hired by the casinos as tech guys to repair the slot machines, but really, they were hired to provide muscle. They hostilely took over the competition's casinos and beat up people who won jackpots at the Las Vegas casinos in order to return the money. The two Dorofte brothers were charged with being part of an organized crime group in November 2022. And recently, Mihai Dorofte officially became a wanted man in Romania. They issued an arrest warrant for him. He is wanted as the leader of the organized crime group.
Bro, chat, we already covered this. We covered this a long time ago because remember I told you one of the brothers escaped. They got one of them in custody. Remember I told you that. We see we already on top of this shit already, bro. I'm telling you, these guys are serious. They're not a joke. And if Tate's bragging about, first they lock you up, then they silence you, or first they silence you, then they lock you up, and then they kill you. I'm sorry, Tate. I don't think it's the Romanian government. After all that bragging you done did about the mafia, I don't think they're the ones coming to kill you, bro. I think it's the guy who's now internationally wanted as a known crime lord. I think he looks like he's gonna kill you. I'm sorry, bro. Hey, for the Tater Tots out there, okay, if Tate's out here talking about, the Matrix got me and they killed me. No, it's this guy. It's probably this guy and whoever he orders to do it. Don't listen to the propaganda. My boy Tate, all right, is balls deep with these people. It's not even funny, bro. Like, this guy's an international wanted criminal now. This is insane, dude.
So yes, the Tates are in the casino business in Romania, and yes, the Tates are in business with organized crime. Moving into casinos certainly didn't make Tate rich, but it did make him a target for corrupt officials looking for free bribe money.
Romania is completely corrupt from head to toe, right? So I have a very, very extensive network in Romania. I like to make this very clear. One of the reasons I love living there so much is because I'm at the very top echelon of society. If I need to speak to the prime minister, I can make that happen. So we went and met with some members of parliament, and they're like, well, it's not us, it's European Union directed all of this COVID lockdown garbage. You can open them if you don't put the outside lights on and you just like on the sly. So I did a deal with them to open them on the sly and pay bribes. So I was open for like the first month with bribes, but the bribe kept going up because it's Romania, right? The police chief would come, he wants some. And the police chief would call his mate, who's the fucking, fire inspector, some jackass, he'd come. The alcohol licensing man would come. It was just like, everyone's got on the phone like, hey, this casino's still open. They'll pay you to go away. So before you know it, every 5 minutes, someone in the door for money. And we weren't making money, so we had to close down. So we've been closed we're still closed to this day. We're still waiting to be reopened. And nobody feels sorry for the casino owner. It's kind of hard to play the pity card. My business is going under. Everyone's like, who gives a shit? Fuck you.
Now, if we can catch a contradiction here in this little clip. Tate says he's got an extensive network of corruption available to him in Romania. He's top echelon of society, he says. If Tate needs to talk to the prime minister, he can make that happen. Or at least he could with the last guy. Maybe.
Boom. Some people were speculating Jeffrey Epstein had high political ties. Matter of fact, probably to intelligence agencies, right? So some other people were saying, hey, the whole reason for Jeffrey Epstein's existence was to compromise powerful figures because a certain organization wanted dirt on powerful people so they can control them. And Epstein was the perfect tool for that. Who's to say someone like Andrew Tate isn't the Romanian version of it, right? A Romanian dude guy that's in there right now, running around doing all this crazy stuff. It's pretty similar to a guy in the U.S. that got busted up. I'm just saying, bro. He's got access to prime ministers. Just let that sink in, bro. And then what that's telling me is Romania isn't as big of a country as a lot of people think it is. It's not that big in terms of money, right? In terms of money, it's not all there, bro. If a guy like Tate can reach this guy, yeah.
Maybe that's why Nicolae Cuca got voted out a month ago and replaced with this guy. But if Andrew Tate really was top echelon of society, do you honestly think he'd have to pay bribes to keep his doors open? Or is it far more likely that Tate has exaggerated his status here as someone who had to pay the top echelon to stay in business? It would appear that Tate is a small fish, talking like he's the big shark. Now, the reason why we have gone into this amount of detail on this topic is that despite the Doroftes claiming they have broken all business ties with the Tates, both Andrew and Tristan have reportedly been recorded in wiretap surveillance as having admitted to being involved with money laundering operations. The wiretap quote reads, "You're not stupid, and you can probably guess how I make so much money. I have to hide what I'm really doing. I've been doing this for a long time with a team of girls working on video chat. The company was fake, but this is how I laundered my dirty money. Some of the girls who worked for me, I used them to do other things, to move money or illegal things, documents, etc." The audio
got him on wiretaps. Tater tots. They got him on wiretaps. He's done. He's going to prison.
The recording is quite damning, and we're going to circle back to this when we start going over the legal battles the Tates face. But this segues nicely into the Tate brothers' webcam origin story, and as it turns out, it was Tristan who had already found money in the webcam game before Andrew clued into it.
So my brother comes along and says, listen, you're making a little bit of money. We're going to change it up. You're going to listen to me. I'm going to install some structure and some discipline in your fucking life, and you're going to make some real money. I'm going to get a percentage. So my brother runs an OnlyFans agency. My brother's making 200 grand a month from OnlyFans. Casino's making more than that.
Little brother Tristan had already been managing webcam girls through an agency called Talus Management, a play off of Tristan's kickboxing nickname, Tate the Talisman. Talus Management still has a Twitter profile, showing everyone the various models that lonely incels could buy subscriptions to on OnlyFans. That lineup of models includes the mother of Tristan Tate's daughter, going by the moniker Abigail Tyson with 3 N's. The fact that she is still active in this online profile game while raising Tristan's daughter tells you loads about the kind of man that Tristan Tate is not.
I had to downgrade one of the mothers of my kids from the house she was living in. I needed her to understand that you do not fuck with me. And she was living in a 4-bedroom rented house, and I was paying the rent and all the bills, and I pay everything. I said, okay, you know what? You want to fuck with me in that way? That's cool. You have 30 days to get out of that house. Here's your new apartment, 2 bedrooms. Well, what do you mean? Now your child doesn't have a garden plan. Well, that's your fault. That is not my fault. Take her to the fucking park. I don't take shit. So it's never going to get to that level where they think, oh, well, let me call the U.S. Embassy, and because he's a citizen, maybe I can, because they know the consequence. It's not going to turn out good for them or me or anybody.
As declared autobiographically, Andrew decided that he was going to take the 4 girlfriends he had at the time and get them set up in their own webcams.
I have to keep saying this, bro. I have to keep saying this, chat. Okay? Because a lot of these tater tots, they like to judge other people about their lives and things and that and whatever the hell, right? But this guy is pimping out his own baby moms. Y'all out here shaming OnlyFans women, but he's pimping his own baby moms, and you got nothing to say to that. I can't with y'all, dude. I can't with y'all.
Studio. Let's get him to tell you the story from the beginning.
Long story short, I invested in this place in Thailand, this property, which I still have now, which is not worth anything because of this virus and they closed the country, blah, blah, blah. And I needed to pay, I think it was like 400 grand, and I had a payment date, and I paid 300 grand, and I had to pay the last 100 grand. I only had 70 grand. I was 30 grand short, right? And I said to Tristan, I said, you know what? When's the last time I got lucky? And he's like, don't do it. It's like, bro, don't trust the big G. I'm going to go to the casino with this 70. I'm going to turn it into 100. So I went to the casino and lost all the money. I had some friends so I could hit up for 100 grand. So I hit them up, but these are guys you have to pay back, right? So I make the payment, blah, blah, blah. And then I needed money fast.
Technically, you needed 100 grand.
Yeah, well, exactly. I needed 150.
So that's one version of the story, but that story constantly changes.
Yeah, so I did a deal with some Albanians, and I needed some money. We won't go into details. I needed some money pronto. So I'm sitting there, and I had a fight coming up. But the fight was too far away for money, and I needed money today. So I'm sitting there thinking, how can I make money? What do I have that's worth money? Like, what do I have that I can even sell? And I was sitting there, and the only thing I had was all these girlfriends. So the beginning of it was I messaged my 6 girlfriends and told them they're all coming to live with me, and I had a job for them in London. 2 of them wouldn't come. 4 of them agreed. So the 4 girls flew in. I sat them all down at a table. They're all like, who's this chick? Who's this chick? Told them all the truth. I've been with you all. I'm starting a webcam business. I'm going to get rich. Some of you are going to come with me to the top of the mountain, or if you're pissed off, you can fucking fly home. Just very matter of fact to the point, because I needed money. At this point, now I have not agreed to take another fight. I need money now. So 2 of them left. 2 of them agreed to stay. And the beginning of my cam empire was this tiny little apartment, me and my 2 girlfriends living in this house, right?
Normally people...
So listen, what I can conclude from this is there was probably a situation where Tate really needed money. All right. It was probably a life or death scenario. Again, probably establishing the fact that he's been there before, right? In a scenario where it's life and death, right? So that's where it pushed him to the camming situation. But this scenario likely happened. I'm inclined to believe it actually likely happened. We're gonna play a little bit more, and then we're gonna save half of it for the next one, because like this, it'd be a long ass stream, chat. It'd be a real long stream if we did the whole thing, but we're gonna have to break it up. But like, again, one thing this is starting to prove is that Andrew Tate doesn't understand honesty, and realistically, the fact that he can't even keep a story straight right now, right? Even right now versus when he was promoting himself. What you guys are sitting there saying he's innocent? Majority of stuff he's saying online could have been fabricated, could have been exaggerated. We don't know. So how the fuck do you know what he was saying is true or is not true, right? So a lot of times, like the way y'all are talking, you tater tots, bro. It's like you guys don't. It's like I guess maybe reading between the lines is a feminine trait apparently for everybody else. Because I'm reading between the lines and I see the bullshit for what it is. I've seen exactly what he's saying versus what he's telling y'all. Let's continue.
People are a little more consistent in their origin story, but regardless of the actual details, there's one common thread here, and that is Andrew Tate needed to make a bunch of money, and webcams are where the Tates finally started seeing some serious money come their way. Not by fighting, not by selling drugs, not through the mob casinos. No, by sexually exploiting their own girlfriends online. And by the time Tate appeared on Big Brother, this webcam business was already up and running. When the money started coming in, it wasn't good enough for Tate to split the proceeds with the girls on camera 50-50. No, he had to screw them over even further by lying to them about their earnings, which he justified by calling women lazy and stupid. When the brothers started racking up the dollars, literally off the back of the girls working for them, Andrew saw another opportunity to cash in on this by selling the paradigm he used to get started in the webcam racket to the same audience of sexually frustrated men that were already paying Tate's ex-girlfriends huge tips so they could watch the half-naked girls take vodka shots and dry hump each other. Now, just in case there's anyone who thinks we're making this stuff up or we're taking it out of context, we found the full version of Tate's earliest webcam instructional video that he used to sell online. It's an hour-long video, but for this episode, we cut the content down to 5 minutes flat. The Coles Notes version of Andrew Tate's How to Be an Online Pimp tutorial. This was Tate's PhD program, short for Pimping Hose Degree, which he thought was clever. It's Tate describing in detail exactly how to find girls, recruit them into doing webcam, and then how to control their money and actions so they can't leave. As we said at the outset, there is no sugarcoating this topic. So this is exactly what it is.
Vivian. This is Vivian right here. Hope y'all know that, right? B2 Cool, shout out to you for the $20 super chat. B2 Cool says, Tater Tot Logic be like, but Duke, how do you know he wasn't just joking on the wiretap phone? How do you know if they didn't bribe any of the higher Romanian officials to have them create charities for those women? Shaking my damn head. You're absolutely right, bro. You're absolutely right, bro. Like, you can't trust anything at this point now. He's become officially untrustworthy. Like, you can't. I'm just going to trust what the DICOT officials or prosecutors got off of his devices, hard drives, and cell phone records. That's what I'm trusting. What we can't see, but they could. I'm trusting that. But whatever this guy says, nah, sorry. Can't do it. That's Vivian, though. The 15-year-old or allegedly 15 to 17-year-old that was trafficked by Tate.
To Tate. Just remember, as you're watching this, many people paid money for this garbage, and some basement dwellers mistakenly adopted this dribble as gospel for how to start up their own online porn studios.
You're effectively taking girls, teaching them how to make unlimited money from home, and then making sure they give it all to you. You need webcam, and you need MacBooks. You need a girl who's prepared to work with some pussy and titties. You want everyone to believe it's a girl in her bedroom at home on her own. There are only 2 webcam websites worth fucking with. The first one is Live Yasmin. It's girls who work for studios. It's professional girls. The website you were going to use is Chaturbate. Chaturbate is how you're going to get rich because they will pay you in Bitcoin. No fucking tax, none of that shit. So don't worry about any of that. None of that's going to come back to you. Your goal is to inspire a girl to make money and give you the money. You have to have some element of influence, believing she needs you. Because at the beginning, she will need you. But you have to keep that fallacy, keep that dream alive that she can't do this without you. When a girl is on camera, she has a...
Bro, that's Vivian. That's Vivian. The same one Tate was caught on camera beaten up with a belt.
Public room. To make the maximum money, it is your job to train the girl, to talk to and interact with that public room. She can also receive private messages. And guys are going to privately message her before they want to spend money. The girl's responsibility is to worry about the room. And all those private messages, you are going to reply to and pretend to be the girl. She will go like this on her laptop and pretend to type. And you will actually reply to all the guys. It makes the girl believe that she can't do it without you. Pimp, positively inspirational, motivating person. Now, what do you say to the men when you're typing to them in private messages? The men want attention, and you only give them attention if you get what you want, which is money. So you have to be careful when you're talking to these guys not to give too much attention to men who don't tip. What I do, or when I used to type, is I'd be quite upfront about what I want. Say, oh, you're beautiful. I say, oh, thank you. Get my Snapchat then. I'm more horny on Snapchat. These are all...
Imagine messaging a girl. It turns out it's Tate telling you he's more horny on Snapchat. Dog, bro, this is so weird.
All things you can sell. What I did is I put a girl online. I'd have a countdown. I'd say 1,000 tokens till topless, for example. She's sitting with a skimpy top on. Everyone wants to see her titties. When she gets to 1,000 tokens, the top comes off. 110 tokens for a shower video. I just say go to the shower, get your phone, make a 2-minute thing while you're in the shower. You sell that video on and on for years. If you sell a WhatsApp, I used to sell a WhatsApp for about 3,000 tokens, about $150. And I had a separate phone with all my girls' guys in that phone, and I kept control of it. You don't let your girl have this, because if your girl ever runs off and leaves you, you don't want her to have an address book of all the guys she can get money from. You want her to leave and go, well, I don't know the account. I don't have the password to the account. I've never set it up before. I don't know how the banking works. I don't have any of my guys' phone numbers. I have nothing. And that's why they don't want to leave. It's like, oh, well, he has everything I need him. I have to stay with him. He has everything. I'm telling you, it's a very important element, that control. Because once the money starts pouring in, the girls are like, what the fuck do I need this dude for? Tax is also another important element for controlling your woman. You're not going to pay anybody tax because you're getting paid in Bitcoin. But you need to tell your girl that you're paying the tax. Because girls are lazy, and girls are stupid, and girls don't understand how taxes work. She'll sit there and go, okay. Now that allows you to do 2 things. One, it's another control element. Secondly, it allows you to pay her a smaller percentage. So I used to pay my girls 30%. They thought they were on 50%. So really you're paying 30, you tell them you're paying 50. Difference is in the tax. The girl you start with is going to be your bottom bitch. The bottom bitch is the girl who collects the money from all the other girls and brings you the money. You cannot get a girl to work for you haven't fucked. The PhD course is my recruitment system. You message them on Instagram. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. After you fuck the girl, you do the PhD test. If she passes the PhD test and she wants to be with you, then you start mentioning things like, yeah, but you're always busy. You're always at work. You can come work for me. Work for you doing what? So I'll have a webcam business. Oh, I don't want to do that. So, okay, I know you don't want to do that. But let me explain it to you properly. In fact, I'll bring one of the girls who works for you. Your bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. My girl said, oh my God, before this I was a waitress and it was shit. And now I do this and I make so much money. And the guys all love me and they adore me. And on my birthday, they send me presents. Martinis, bang, threesome. Slam them both. The bottom bitch knows. This girl's like, okay, well, I'll try it. Put both girls on camera together the first day. Give them a bottle of vodka. Put on the fucking chatterbait. 100 tokens per shot. The guys will send loads of money to get the girls drunk because guys like drunk girls. Girls will sit there, get drunk, have a great time. You say it's your new job now. You don't go to work ever again. That's how you recruit girls. Do not recruit girls any other way.
You going to prison. I'm sorry, dog. Bro just sat there and broke it all down, dog. You going to prison. That was step by step. Like, that's damn near a freaking syllabus for your class curriculum, guys. He got it all laid out for you. You going to prison, dog. Like, what are we doing? Why are we even still having this argument? Fed up with wacky people. Shout out to you. I am fed up with wacky people like this bozo on screen. Shout out to you for the $5 with chat. She says, Tate getting mad help, unfreemasons, hand gestures, clowns in action, and Romanian mob. Tater chips need to get to wake up. Facts. He has all these powerful networks around him. How many average tater tot would say that they have like a powerful access to a gang, or powerful access to politicians, or powerful access to media personalities, right? None of y'all have those connections. He does. And also, he is a multi-millionaire, okay? So it's like crazy how he's trying to pretend to be the average guy, while meanwhile knowing fully well he ain't like y'all, bro. Y'all, he's playing with different levels, and he lets y'all know that. So the fact that you think he's in the matrix, nah, bro, he's a part of that. He's a part of that. He built his own, if anything else.
Get it started. If you have any further questions, come at me. I'm going to do a second video.
So all you chatterbaiters out there who used to lube up their tube sock before tipping these exploited girls to watch them strip, just remember, this is the girl who was actually responding to all of your private messages and every WhatsApp message you ever sent them. The half-naked girl in the video never knew your name. One other thing before we go any further. Remember this lady, the one who publicly exonerated Tate from the beating video that got him kicked off Big Brother? Meet Vivian, also known as Cobra Baby with 3 Ys. Vivian was Andrew Tate's bottom bitch, his recruiter, his groomer, for at least 6 years according to this video, where Tate let slip a couple other pieces of information.
And I only get away with that because the girl at 6 years plays along. So Vivian's been with me 6 years. She's completely head over heels in love with me. She wants kids with me, everything. And we met and we felt whatever, we're in love. But when a new girl comes, she'll go, oh yeah, I started off working for him and it's just how it worked out. She'll super downplay us. When I bring on new girls, I usually pair them with Vivian. Because Vivian's younger. Melissa's like 28, Vivian's like 21. Vivian's younger, she's more fun, more outgoing. Melissa's really quite, not in a bad way, she's more homey.
If you were paying attention to this video, you pick up a couple of things. The first is that Vivian was 21 when this video was recorded, and she had been working with Tate for 6 years. So this 15-year-old was one of the 4 girls that Tate called together to start up his racket, and obviously was the only one of the 4 that stayed with him. Another thing you may have picked up was that most of the new girls were partnered with Vivian to get them going. In Epstein terms, Vivian is Andrew's Ghislaine Maxwell. And we all know where she wound up, which is why it was in Cobra Baby's best interest to come out in defense of Andrew after that video got leaked.
it seems like I'm not the only one that thinks about the comparison between Andrew Tate and Jeffrey Epstein. It seems like the comparison is very, very striking. So, oh my God, bro. I feel like this guy is the new conservative Jeffrey Epstein. Y'all need to just wake up. Wake up. He's a creep.
Because if Vivian had been questioned about this and told him she was a victim of Tate, which is more likely the truth, given the way Tate smacked her around, her involvement as a recruiter would come under scrutiny, which would put her in a tricky legal position, given the other accusations that had been leveled against Tate in the meantime.
Ding, 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 ding. So now we know why every time there's a controversy, Vivian, that face we all know, always pops out and talks about how, oh, the Tates are innocent. Oh, come on, don't make them look bad. It's like the reason why she does that, because she knows if Tate goes down, she goes down with them.
Remember, in Romania, until last month, the legal age of consent in Romania was 15, as we showed. It has since been raised to 16. But we'll remind viewers that the United States extraterritorial sexual exploitation of children statutes define a child as anyone under the age of 18. Although Vivian was not a statutory rape victim according to Romanian standards if they hooked up when she was 15 years old, she definably was under the U.S. Criminal Code, which is something she may have not been aware of at the time. And since then, of course, she has participated in the recruiting and grooming of an unknown number of Tate's webcam girls, according to...
He's going to prison alongside with Tate, because I don't care if you're a victim or not, you as a hurt person decide to hurt other people. You deserve, I don't care whatever, how much he did to you, whatever the fuck, you deserve as much punishment as that guy's going to get, because instead of you doing something, and I get it, mentalities and whatnot, but the fact that she's doing multiple videos defending this guy and knowing fully well she's recruited multiple victims, new victims who could have otherwise avoided this fate if she actually had actually spoke up. You deserve some kind of consequence. I hope they book you too. I hope they book everyone around you, because you making more women who are. This is getting, because like, listen, I used to watch a lot of true crime, right? And there was one where a mother was complicit when her boyfriend was abusing her biological son, right? To the point where her biological son died, and her mother got locked up with the along with the boyfriend, and it was perfectly acceptable, right? Because the mother's defense was, oh well, he manipulated me and he did this and he did that. I'm like, you still sat there and let another guy beat up on your kid until he died, and you did nothing. If you would have stood up or said something, yeah, I get it, you were a victim of manipulation, it sucks, but this is your kid. Now he's dead, and you could have prevented all of that, but you didn't. You deserve some kind of punishment. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing with something like this. It's like you gotta, and that's probably why she's not doing anything now, right? She's not doing anything now because it's like one of those things where, okay, I've been involved in this stuff so many times. I don't know where it's gonna go, and she might get whatever consequences. At this point, like, okay, maybe whatever consequences she gets should be probably light, right? Compared to what Tate's getting, because he's looking at 25 years. If he's going to look at 25 years, she at least got to do at least 5 to 7, right? At least 5 to 7. Just maybe a little lower if you can get the judges to sympathize, right? But at least that much, because there were more women now that we're seeing that were hurt. All right, like the Emma and some of these other girls that were getting their plastic surgery stitches ripped off by Georgiana, right? This is crazy. Like, a lot of women were getting hurt under this. Like, there's got to be something, and she's out here just talking about Tate's innocent. Tate's innocent. Pay attention.
To his own statement, where he has also said in other clips he was running 75 girls at the same time at 4 different locations. And if Cobra Baby had stepped up in 2016 when Tate was kicked off Big Brother and declared herself a victim, which she was, all of the other girls that followed her could have been spared. Being a victim does not excuse participating in victimizing the next girl that Tate...
This is a because Ghislaine Maxwell's still locked up, thank God, right? So you can say she's a victim, but I don't care. She lured a bunch of underage girls to that predator, Jeffrey Epstein. She deserves punishment, at least some prison time. Yo, if there isn't more parallels drawn between Andrew Tate and Jeffrey Epstein, Vivian, and Ghislaine Maxwell, bro, let this be proof right now.
Lured in. Just in case there are any viewers furiously typing nonsense in the comments section about how any of this could possibly be taken out of context, Here's some more context for you.
Me and these two chicks, we just start fucking hammering the webcam game. The women who were on stream were beautiful, but they didn't have a fucking clue what to say. So I'm trying to teach these women, and the women kept fucking it up. So I said to them, it's like, you know what, fuck it. I'm taking over. So what I did is I unplugged their keyboards and plugged a new one in from me behind the screen. So the chicks would sit there and hit a keyboard that wasn't plugged in. And me and my brother, and eventually some staff I trained, would do all the talking. The girls were just famoosers, just laughing and doing this, the titties out. And they were talking to fucking ice cold hustlers. We were taking their money, all of it. And they come and say, what kind of, all of it. We were fucking milking them dry. Women haven't got a clue how to famoosa do. They don't have, because they rely on their looks. They don't have any of the intellect. They have no game. Nah, you get a man with game and give him a female's body, a female avatar, you will fuck a guy up. I had these guys selling their houses, life savings, loans, all of it to me. Give me it all. You have a guy.
Feel bad or no?
Fuck no. Give a solitary fuck. If you come and you enjoyed it and spoke to the girl, spent what you could afford to spend, cool. If you turned up, you're an idiot and got a loan out, is that my problem? No. So I'm famoosing these dudes, right? So the guy would be like, what kind of guys do you like? And if he was a young man, I'd say, I can't believe I'm talking to some young guy. All these old creeps are on here. Oh my God, you're so handsome. Why are you even here?
So
if he was an old guy, I would say, oh my God, finally glad to talk to you. All these young creeps keep coming to talk to me. I want a guy who's serious, who's ready to settle down. I know older men will settle down. Sell the dream, sell the dream, sell the dream. We got to the point where we had these guys falling in love with my models, serious, big time in love, right? Because they were like, can we meet? I've sent you $200,000. Can we meet? Can we meet? Can we meet? And the problem
What was
is,
the most that one person sent to a model? Total.
million?
Wow.
About a mil in about a year?
I know you don't feel bad at all.
Why the fuck would I
Yeah, I
care?
don't feel bad.
That confirms what Tate said in the previous video.
Right there, that part, and I'm actually gonna pause it right there, right? That part that he was explaining where he got guys to send hundreds of thousands of dollars for like visas and all these different fees and stuff like that. That goes hand in hand with romance scam. And for you guys don't know what romance scams are, they're basically scams that are being perpetrated on old people, especially in the West, right? Where you got a bunch of people from either African countries, Russian or India or some of these places that are scamming a lot of these old people by getting these guys to believe that they're in love, right? With whether it's a woman or a man. So they message them back and forth. But then when it's come time to meet, there's always some kind of problem, right? Oh, I need money for travel. I need money for phone. I need money for this, that, and this. And before you know it, all these guys are sending all this money little by little, right? Because they don't realize that all that stuff adds up. But they're sending the money for her needs here or her needs there. And maybe she wants to travel. They send the money for the plane ticket. To these guys, they think that, oh, I am just helping this woman from a poor situation come in and just be in America where she can be safe and be with me, right? And in actuality, you're messaging some scammer, probably from Nigeria, India, or Russia. All right, and they're there and they're just messaging you back and forth. It's a dude at the end of the screen. At the end of the day, all right, it's similar to exactly what Andrew Tate's doing. The guys fall in love with the cam girls, but realistically, it's Andrew Tate making all these things up to get the guys to fall deeper in love. And when the guys get to that point where they're asking for, oh, well, let me get to see you, let me come out and do things with you, and X, Y, and Z, right? He's making up all these excuses. He's going out in front of embassies, taking photos, right? Making these guys believe that this girl, who in reality doesn't know they exist, this girl actually wants them, and then before you know it, they spring it on them. That last piece right there, minus the webcam pornography part, right? If you want to leave that part to trafficking, fine. But the other side to it is bona fide what you would call a romance scam. So in addition to this stuff, Andrew Tate was a romance scammer. Okay, let's just put it at that, right? So I mean, y'all gotta just wake up, bro. Like, this guy is not a good dude. A lot of old people fall for this shit all the fucking time in the United States. He's not doing anything new. He just figured out how to mix OnlyFans with fucking romance scams, and there you go. Shout out to Be2 Cool for the $10 super chat. B2 Cool says, plot twist, what if the judge happens to be one of the men Andrew Tate finesse acting like a webcam girl, and the judge just says, fuck it, death penalty, motherfucker. No, I don't think they're gonna do a death penalty. But it's going to hurt. It's going to be some significant time that Tate's going to be doing. Well, guys, let me know what you think. If what you saw here was basically a bona fide game changer, right? If that was you saying, listen, man, this guy, after what I just saw with the ties to the mob, the ties to some of these hidden members of his crew, this right here is evidence that he's going to prison for a long time. Put a 1 in the chat. If you believe, oh, this is still not an evidence or not evidence enough for you, put a 2 in the chat, and I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Jesus.